Okay, going live. Quiet, please. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 5 of the 2023 Association Croquet World Championships. So we now move to the knockout phase of the tournament, and we are going to introduce to you our production team today. Ludo von Hasselt, we have Alan Chance, John Callender, Roderick Sheen, and myself, Stephen Allen. Handing you over now to Keith Ayton, who's going to be our commentator.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's Keith Ayton here in the commentary box. Once again, we're going to be looking at the match on Lawn 4 at Hurlingham, which is going to be between Harry Fisher of England and the sensation of the tournament so far, which is Ewan Burridge, also from England. And I say the sensation of the tournament because Ewan's grade, I looked him up, and he's come through the qualifier, and when he started the qualifier his grade was just under 1800, and his grade now is 2012. And Harry Fisher, who is, I believe, the number 6 seed, he played for England in the winning McRobertson Shield team in November. Now I think the guys are going to put up the knockout draw in full, so you'll be able to see that on screen, and here we go. So we've got the 32 qualifiers. So today there are going to be 16 matches. Of those 16 matches, 8 are taking place at Hurlingham, 4 on the front lawns and 4 on the cricket pitch. And then of the other 8 games, 4 are taking place at Surbiton and 4 are taking place at Roehampton. Now, for those of you perhaps, here we go, we've got the games going up now. So right, so the number 1 seed, Robert Fletcher's playing at Surbiton, and the way the draw works, the top 8 seeds are all placed into the draw. So if they win 2 rounds, number 1 will play number 8, number 2 will play number 7, 3 will play 6, and 4 will play 5. And then the opponents for the top 8 seeds in this round are the bottom 8 ranked qualifiers, but they were randomly drawn. And then the second 8 players and the third 8 players were also drawn against each other. So we're going to have, so that Robert Fletcher and Jose Reaver are the number 1 and number 8 seeds, and they're playing at Surbiton, whereas Matthew Essick, who I think he's either 4 or 5, because I know Mark Avery is either 4 or 5, so the 4 and 5 seeds are playing at Roehampton. And here at Hurlingham we've got the 2, 3, 6 and 7 seeds in play. On the lower lawns at Hurlingham, on lawn 1, we've got Reg Bamford, who's won this tournament 5 times, and he's playing against Aston Wade, who's another young English player. I think he's a little bit younger than Ewan. Ewan's 21, I think Aston might be 20, but Aston's made quite a name for himself already in croquet. He's the current under 21 golf croquet world champion, and he's a previous winner of the British GC Open Championship, but he's also got a pedigree in AC, because last year he won the second Invitation 8, the Chairman Salve, and he did that by winning 13 out of his 14 games. So the players at the moment are warming up, and when they warm up they do a number of things. They want to get the pace of the lawn, that's key, but they also get a chance to practice some of the strokes that they may well have to play at certain stages of the game. So for example, we can see Harry in the foreground here. He's just practiced approaching hoop 2 from corner 2, and he's just practiced there. Okay, I'm going to stick my neck out and say that he's just practiced putting a ball down the west boundary, or just off the west boundary, as part of making a third turn leave. Now that he's vacated corner 2, we can see that Ewan's coming over, and he's probably going to practice approaching hoop 2. Now, something to look out for on this lawn is that we've seen numerous people approaching hoop 2, sending a ball deep behind the hoop, only to find that the croquet ball has gone off the north boundary. So that's something to look out for. I think the players will be aware of that. I think word will have got round that that's a possibility. There are one or two subtle slopes on this lawn, and they're probably being emphasised by the fact that the lawn's in absolutely immaculate condition. Ground staff have done a fantastic job, and I can honestly say these are the best state these Hurlingham lawns have been in, and I've been coming here over 40 years. They really are like putting greens, and it is actually a little bit off-putting for players who are used to sort of normal croquet lawns, because if you come to a club and you see green lawns like this, you immediately assume that they're not going to be very quick. Normally for a croquet lawn to be quick, it's got to be starved of water and start turning brown, but because the quality of the turf here is so good, they are able to cut it down, keep it rolled and firm, and still keep it green. Now, I'm not exactly sure when kickoff's going to be, whether it's 9:40 or 9:45. I think it's 9:40. So we're getting very close to the start of this match, and because we're now in the knockout, matches are going to, today at least, will be best of 3 games. In the block stage it was all single games. And there's obviously a different dynamic to playing a best of 3. One of the important things, of course, being that you mustn't lose heart just because you've lost the first game. You still just need to win the 2 games, and you can win the match. So we're starting to get some contributions on the YouTube chat channel. Very kind of you, Tim. Thanks for your comment. It has been a pleasure doing commentary on this tournament so far, and I'm looking forward to. Well, I'm not quite sure what to expect today. I have seen Ewan play. I last saw Ewan play in the British Open, and I think we'll see a feature of his game because he's a golf croquet player, as was sort of his first contact with croquet. We'll probably see good shooting, and I think we'll see firm shooting and good hoop running, but the subtleties of break play, leave making, and triple peeling. Ewan's only really recently started to become acquainted with those. But clearly, since he's out of his last 19 games, they qualified, he got 7 out of 10, and he got 6 out of 9 in his block. He must be doing something right. So it looks like Ewan's ready, and Harry's just finishing up his warm-up. So, can I tell you anything about the magnificent clubhouse? Well, I could, and I think I will, but I have to caveat that by saying that it may turn out, if you actually research the history, to be complete nonsense. But I think we're looking at an 18th century country house. It's not the club. The club, which was formed in 1869, moved into this house. I think it was built before the club was formed. And I think I'm right in saying that the club was initially formed as a polo club, so that expats who'd been to India and played polo there had somewhere to. Right, so instead of me wittering on, we've now got something about Hurlingham has come up on the screen. Right, so it is a Georgian clubhouse. Georgian means effectively 18th century. And it's regarded as a birthplace of polo. I didn't know that. So right, we're getting perilously close to this match starting. Ewan's pacing about and he's just waiting for Harry to come down. I'm not sure if they've yet had the toss. Right, looks like they probably have, because Ewan is about to start the game by putting blue into the lawn, and now we're going to get a super shot. It's been a long time coming, but we've now got a super shot in this game now. It's interesting where Ewan's put it. It's not a sort of traditional place. You would normally have the super shot ball in the west bit of the lawn, and he's put it a couple of yards into the east. And the idea of this is that Harry's going to put red somewhere, and wherever Harry puts it, I think Ewan is going to try and hit it with black. There are a number of places Harry could put it, but the place that's probably going to make things most difficult for Ewan is if he puts it just south of corner 2, which is what he's doing now. Okay, so Harry's thinking is he wants to be just south of the corner in case Ewan misses, and if he has a close miss, then the likelihood is that Harry would then have a double target from the end of B-bulk with yellow. So we'll get an idea of how Ewan's swinging it today. I think this will be hit fairly firmly. Ewan's missed that, and he missed it on the left, so yeah, no, he just didn't miss it by much, so it looks like it will be an obvious double target for Harry, and I would expect Harry should hit this, and if he does, then he gets a chance to develop a break. Now, Greg Fletcher, hello Greg, the eldest of the the croquet playing Fletcher brothers. Robbie Fletcher's older brother has made the comment here that having the super shot ball east of the peg makes corner 2 much more attractive. Now, I think you're absolutely spot on there, Greg, and the reason for that, I think, is that had Ewan actually hit red, his play would be to try develop red into the game somewhere, possibly down towards hoop 1. But he wants to get a rush on blue, and it's a lot further from corner 2 to get a rush on blue than it would be if blue was on the west. So here comes Harry. Yeah, nice smooth swing from Harry there. And he's picked off red. Didn't move black. I mean, sometimes you hit the if you hit the middle of the target, you might rotate one of the balls, and your ball then cannons into the other ball. Now, he's very close to getting a group here, but I don't think he has. So if he hasn't got a cannon, then he can't move black at this stage. So what he's concerned about is making sure he can rush black, and he'll be wanting to rush black, I think, south and east of blue, probably with enough room to send black back towards hoop 2, getting a rush on blue to hoop 1. Yeah, and he's had to be quite delicate there because his mallet was actually perilously close to touching black, so he had to avoid doing that. That would have been a fault. And I'm not sure where this rush is pointing. It's okay, so he's had to play a cut rush, and it is going south and east of blue. Oh no, it's not actually. Sort of okay, certainly gone east of blue, but he will not have enough room to send black back to hoop 2. But on the plus side, he should get a nice easy rush to hoop 1. Now, some of you might be wondering why my thoughts aren't being confirmed or contradicted by a co-commentator, and for the simple reason I haven't got a co-commentator at the moment. I'm on my Todd. Okay, so that's well. Harry's done quite well there. He's got black further than I thought he might. He's given himself a longer rush than I would like, but I'm sure he'll cope with us. Well, this wants to go pretty much straight south of hoop 1 would be ideal. That's pretty good. It's gone a little bit to the west, but he's going to be approaching from about 3 or 4 yards. And we've just started to get some rain. I don't know how long this is going to last. I'm not sure what the forecast is for today. When I last looked, it was going to be fairly dry until later in the day, but here we go. So, oh no, you don't have to wonder with Harry. He often shows you with body language exactly what he's done, and he's walked off the lawn, but he has run this hoop, as the replay shows, but the problem he's got is that he wanted to run the hoop and then be able to hit blue, and it's looking like that's not going to be possible. So he's very quickly decided that he needs to disappear off to fourth corner. It's not a disaster. It's obviously not what he was hoping for. If he'd just come through a little bit more cleanly, then he would have been able to hit blue, and I think he'd have had a good chance of getting a break started. So, mistake there from Harry. Ewan's got an opportunity to make a roquet, let's say. Now, what's he going to do? I think he'll be playing one of his balls and trying to hit the partner ball, and I think he will probably shoot black at blue, but let's see. Paddy using the new term for finessing or cornering. Right, so he's going to hit this, and if he just makes a nice central hit, oh, he's missed. That's the second one he's missed. He won't be happy about that. I think Ewan will struggle if he can't find his shooting swing. Well, okay, so Harry, I think Harry is going to probably play red at yellow. Okay, now you might be looking at that and thinking that's a bad shot at yellow, but what he's actually just done there is join up, leaving a rush for yellow along the south boundary. And Ewan's walking onto the lawn to do something with blue. Oh, no, he's walking away from blue now. And I'm pretty sure that he's going to take a shot. But he's walking down to black now. I think from a defensive point of view, it'd be well advised to move blue from the middle of the lawn, because blue's actually quite useful for both Harry's red ball, which is for hoop 1, and his yellow ball, which is for hoop 2. Now I've just noticed he's trying to hide behind the tree, but I have seen him. Chris Clark is in the club, and I'm hoping he's going to wander over. So Ewan is shooting black at blue, which I'm slightly surprised by. It's 3 shots he's missed now. So I'm hoping that Chris Clark is going to be joining me, and I'm sure all you listeners will be hoping the same. It's fantastic to have Chris's knowledge and experience of the game available, and I'm sure he'll have some insightful comments to make about both the players in the match and the play. So, good morning to Chris.
Good morning, Keith.
So, you won't have seen the start of this game. It was a super shot ball from Ewan.
Oh, yeah.
To probably a couple of yards east of the peg.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit south. Harry went to corner 2, or just south of corner 2.
Yeah.
Ewan missed.
Oh, right.
Leaving Harry a double, which Harry hit. He couldn't do anything with his own ball. He could get a rush. He got a rush, which he took only just south of the super shot ball.
It's amazing how often people underhit that shot.
It is. But he got a rush to one, and he rushed probably 3 to 4 yards south of one. Put blue where it is now.
Yeah.
And then only grovelled through the hoop.
Oh wow.
So he had to go to corner 4. Well, he did go to corner 4. Ewan then missed probably probably no more than a 9 or 10 yarder at blue going to the south boundary. Harry moved red from near corner 2 to the south boundary, and then you saw Ewan miss the shot from the south boundary. So Ewan's not hit anything, which is
surprising. And the shot he missed from the south boundary, he missed by a good 3/4 of a ball.
Right.
Again on the left, which tends to indicate you're gripping the mallet a bit tight, and you come through, and maybe he's not quite as relaxed in this one. I'm sure you've already highlighted the fact that really he wasn't really expected to get out the qualifier.
Well, yes. Well, I've mentioned that I haven't seen Ewan play since the British Open, and he's had 19 games since then, and his grade's gone up over 200 points.
Yeah, he's clearly getting better every game.
Yeah.
But having made it through the qualifier quite sort of unexpectedly, for him to actually make the knockout is one of the biggest upsets.
It's huge, isn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely huge.
Looking at the draw overnight, it was clear what a big advantage being a 1 to 8 seed was.
Yes.
There was a gap in all of those matches, and you really thought none of the top 8 seeds were going to lose today. They might have the odd break taken against them because we're playing in fairly easy conditions, but these are going to be 8 comparatively easy matches.
You would think.
Yeah.
Potentially though, this could be a banana skin. If Ewan found his shooting boots, I think, I'm not saying he would necessarily win, but I think he might give Harry something to be concerned about. Yeah,
I think any match you'll have found over the years, if your opponent hits in every turn, you never get in and get a rhythm, do you? As a good player, even if they're only making 4 or 5 hoops. And then you suddenly find you've got a 16-yarder to hit a bonus shot, and you miss that, and then they make a few more hoops, and then they get a break to the peg. And suddenly you're close to losing.
And you start thinking, well, never miss as well.
Yeah, and I have had some opponents where that's been true. It's not, particularly if you're not on top form yourself, and you're not just hitting all your 14 and 15-yard bonus shots that you get.
Well, you start putting yourself under pressure then, don't you?
Yeah. So I think Harry will be happy that Ewan has missed all these shots, and he's got away with his error.
Yeah. Well, he's now looking like he's going to get a break now.
Yeah, it should be a straightforward break, and Harry's been going to 4 back with diagonal spreads from what I've been seeing.
Okay. Stick to what you know.
Yep. Ewan's plan today was 9-12-5 in the old-fashioned language.
Very sensible, I would say. It's not necessarily the day to try and do your first TP.
No, and he is. He has never done a TP in practice or in a competitive game. So there won't be many people who've played in the last 32 of a World Championship who've never done a triple. Good chance for this quarter of the draw to get some play on the front lawns.
Yes. Now, the winners who come through from today, both on the front lawns and at the cricket pitch, are going to be playing at Roehampton tomorrow, I believe. Whereas the winners who come through from the rounds at Surbiton and Roehampton are going to be coming here.
That's correct.
And all of those games tomorrow, presumably, are going to be on the front lawns.
Yep.
I'm guessing.
Yep. That's the plan.
So there'll be eight matches tomorrow, and the 4 here will be on the front lawns, and then they've got 4 lawns at Roehampton, haven't they?
Yeah, 3 at the front and 1 very, very pretty lawn.
Is it still called the Rose Garden lawn?
I think so. It's a lovely walled garden, a very nice lawn, a beautiful location to play.
Yeah, I appreciated it greatly as I was being duffed up by Kevin Beard 10 years ago.
I think Jenny went out of the last World Championship held in London in 16 turns to Robbie Fletcher.
Yeah.
26 TP, 17 TP, 26 TP.
Yeah, and he looked like he couldn't miss.
Yeah. So, yeah, we obviously had the draw now. It gives you an idea as to the difficulty of the matches people may be facing. Who do you think it favours?
Overall? No, I don't know, Chris. I haven't looked at it in the detail that you probably have. So you've got a view on that, have you?
Yeah, I thought it gave Robbie Fletcher quite a clear advantage.
Oh, go on.
I mean, there's the obvious fact that Reg and Robert Fulford are in the opposite half.
Well, we've got looking at the draw on the screen now. Perhaps you want to highlight what you're thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking that Mark Ormerod was one of the less challenging first round games. Particularly given the fact that Robbie's got Surbiton. When you're playing best of 3s, there's always that little danger that you can lose. And when you're playing at Surbiton with firmer hoops, you're far less likely. So I think Robbie's going to cruise through today's match.
Well, Mark was another qualifier.
Yes, he was, exactly. So qualifier in the first round, you're reasonably happy. Tomorrow he's going to get Hurlingham, and he's going to be at Hurlingham every day from then on. So it's almost a perfect draw, Surbiton followed by Hurlingham every day.
Yeah.
The 2 main dangers to Robbie, Reg Bamford and Robert Fulford, the 3 and 2 seeds, are obviously in the opposite half.
Yes.
And most people have been saying that whilst there are a few people who might win the tournament, there are 3 people who are likely to win. And when you've got a half to yourself, and you know the other 2 are seeded to meet in the semi-final, well, you've only got to beat one of them to win.
Yeah.
So,
whereas they've got to beat you, well, the other one, and you potentially.
Correct. And to go even further than that, I'm looking at Robert Fulford's draw and I'm going, next round, I don't think Blake's going to be a problem. Mm-hmm. But next round he's got Ben Rothman. Now we know Ben Rothman's a really world-class player, and if Ben doesn't get through, he's playing one of the most in-form players in the tournament. Stephen Morgan's been making delayed triples look easy.
Right.
And there haven't been many people who've just been cruising around doing TP after TP.
It's these American croquet professionals, Chris.
Well,
they do a ton of teaching, but presumably they also get time to practice at the facilities, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and I think the other thing to note is, I think I mentioned this earlier on in the event, playing conditions are very American. Beautifully manicured lawns here, fairly quick, maybe a fraction faster than they used to be honest, easy hoops, and they're really going to be helping the American players. And look how many Americans are in that draw from the bottom up: Fields, Morgan, Rothman, Maloof, Lawrence, Balding, and then Matthew Essick and Zach Watson, probably the best 2 in the top half.
Yeah.
That's the biggest ever American contingent we've seen, highlighting not just the fact that playing conditions suit them, but how much better America have become over the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So,
Meanwhile, Harry's progressing on his break, and he's looks in very good shape here, doesn't he? Lovely pioneer at 6. Early 2-back pioneer. Now, it's a nuance, but he's kept that on the east side. I like that.
I like that as well. Yeah. Just this, what we call inside the rectangle, this imaginary line between 1, 2, 3, 4, back to 1 again.
Yeah.
And if you can just keep all the balls inside that box, well, nothing's ever very far away to have to tidy up.
That's right. And particularly with that red at 2-back, we can anticipate later in the break, but he's going to be sending a ball to 3-back.
Yep.
and he can do that from maybe 2 yards west of red.
Absolutely.
And whereas if you imagine red was a yard west of 2 back, you'd have to do it from another probably 5 or 6 yards further west.
Yeah, you can easily start having to play bigger shots than you want. I know I watched Dominic Nunn's in his playoff game yesterday, and he had a 4-ball break straight away, but by 1 back it was almost disintegrated. He'd sort of got down to a 3-ball break and a 3.5-ball break, and the striker's ball was moving that little bit extra.
Yeah.
And he ended up approaching 1 back from, he was only probably 5 feet away, but it hit it down a slightly imperfect line, and then he got quite a bit of hill.
Yeah.
And it was just enough to cause a hoop error.
Yeah.
And there haven't been many hoop errors this tournament. It's all been about speed.
Yeah. Now, well, we have seen people. I mean, we talked about this on day 1, I think. The people who've been doing well getting through the hoops have not been slapping at them. Just a nice, smooth, firm, but smooth.
Yeah.
And gets the ball rolling, doesn't it?
It
gets
does.
the ball rolling, and then as long as you hit the right part of the gap,
Yep.
You're going to go through.
Yeah.
Logan, who got through his playoff against Dave Kibble yesterday morning, he had a huge slap at hoop too, and because he was hitting so hard, his swing got out of sequence, and he just smashed it into the near wire.
Yep. Harry keeping reasonable control. He hasn't got a rush out of 1 back, but it's not a major problem. He's got black in a quite a nice position. I quite like it a little bit further west, actually, so you don't have to do as much with yellow.
Well, exactly. What's he moving yellow? 7, 8 yards here, isn't he?
Yeah, so he's swapping
Is this going to 3 back or the peg?
I think it's the peg. Oh no, it's 3 back.
Wrong. I thought it was going to be the peg.
Yeah.
And now okay. Well, it's done all right. We notice if you're coming from this sort of hoop 2 line, behind hoop 2, and you're sending a ball over to 4 or 3 back, it can sort of start veering alarmingly from west to east.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a significance.
Whereas if you're sending a ball to 4 from, say, the north boundary, a little bit east of 6,
Yeah.
it actually holds its line.
Okay. So these are useful things that, players can pick up during the event by playing on lawns and watching video now.
Well, yes, indeed.
I mean, we're both big golf fans, the
Yeah.
white ball sport, and if I was a professional golfer, I'd be watching these early guys going out in the Open tomorrow, and I'd be going, well, where's that putt going?
Yeah.
And, just trying to read the greens by watching people get into familiar positions. And you can do the same at croquet now. Actually find out where are the hills.
Well, hopefully we don't get books produced with charts and...
Certainly you don't want people looking at them during play.
No.
That would be not allowed under our current rules.
Well, if it was allowed, it would start soaking up loads of time, and like the golfers do.
But one thing the Kiwi team did during the MAC was we would map the lawns out. We'd map the key lift shots out, and if there was a big hill in front of one of the hoops, we'd mark that out as well. And just so that, in the 5 minutes before you're going to go out, you can actually have a look at the team's notepad and go, well, I don't want to be taking that lift shot, or I want to be encouraging my opponent to take the hilly lift shot.
Yeah.
And there's a big hill in front of hoop 6 or something like that.
I was amazed at the number of people during the MAC who took the long lift shot on lawn 2.
Yeah.
And as far as I could tell from the live stream, it moved all over the show.
Yeah, Jenny tried to persuade me that you could aim at about a ball one side, and once it had hilled, it would hit.
Okay.
And she did hit a lot of shots.
Okay.
So maybe she was right, but it wouldn't have been my number one lift shot I'd have been trying to find something, shooting at a ball at the peg or something like that.
Now, do you think Harry will be entirely satisfied with how this turns finishing up?
No, I mean, obviously blue wasn't a good pioneer, but having done that, black and red are both too far north, and particularly the black ball.
Well, it's nowhere near the peg.
No.
That's what I'm looking at.
And you're going to have to go past it to get a rush to the peg. Yeah. If it was short of the peg and a long way away still, at least you could come up short to it from 3 back. Here you really need a rush out of the hoop. And he's done well. He's punted blue quite a long way forward though with that approach, so he should get a rush.
The thing is, people have been running these hoops. I just think he's okay there, but I've seen a lot of people apparently giving themselves room and then still running past the reception ball.
Yeah, and one of the things I've been highlighting to people is know where your misses, and black short is better than black long here, so it's far more easier to get to it from 3 back. And now he's going to have to play a reasonable croquet stroke and go past it.
He's got to miss black,
and he's played that well. Just looking at blue, we mentioned this the other day, anything north of hoop 6 starts becoming a potential shot from b-bolt.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I always tell people that as long as you get blue north of the peg, you don't have to do much more than that, really.
Yeah. You potentially start to limit where you can lay up on the east boundary a wee bit, if you don't get control.
If you don't get this black sorted out, because it's black's position that limits what you can do with red and yellow, isn't it?
It is. So it looks like black's almost level with the peg, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's open. I think blue's open on black.
Really? Do you think so? He seemed fairly happy with it.
He did seem happy with it. I'm going to have a wander round just before
we might.
Ewan does anything.
Okay.
And just go and have a look.
So while Chris is just going to have a look at what the situation with blue and black is, Harry's looking at where to lay up on the east boundary. Now, what's the story, Chris?
Well, it's just dreadful. Let's be honest about it. So black's completely open on blue.
Oh dear.
And blue can hit 90% of black.
Wow.
So it can almost hit the right-hand edge of black.
And yet he seemed quite happy with it.
He didn't seem annoyed with it. Arguably, you could say blue has a full ball because it could flick the peg and hit black as well. So effectively, like missing on the right, but then hit the peg and flick over. So there's two sort of 12 to 13 yarders available here.
Okay, that's interesting.
I think black will have no shot at red and yellow.
Yeah. So if you're Ewan here, you're just going to. Presumably you're going to come and probably go black at blue.
No, I'm not.
You're going to go blue at black?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a much easier break when you've hit it.
Yeah, well, it's just that you don't want to hit a peg and potentially stay in the middle of the lawn.
I don't think that gives Harry any significant advantage compared to black missing blue. I think it's far more about giving yourself the easy chance. If black hits blue, the first thing I'm looking at is Ewan's got to take off across the lawn, and we've seen yesterday, I know we've had some early morning sort of drizzly rain today, but yesterday there were lots of speed errors, people hitting in, taking off the lawn.
Right.
And I want to avoid that as my first croquet stroke as Ewan.
Okay.
So I'm going to play blue at black from where it lies.
We'll see what Ewan decides to do. See if he thinks like you do on this one. And there are no other shots to consider, really, are there?
The normal shots of blue or black shooting at red from third corner, which is quite short. It's only about 18 yards.
Yeah.
I think
still 5 yards longer than this.
Exactly. You mentioned a few days ago how important it was in easy conditions to find the shortest shot,
Mm.
and there are 2 short shots available here.
Yeah, okay. And the reason you do not mind, you don't worry about taking a short shot that perhaps gives more away, is that it's not giving much more away.
Correct.
So this could be your best chance, or indeed only chance, to get back in the game.
Exactly.
Right, so he's taking the shot you suggested. He just needs to be a bit smoother this time he's hit. Oh no.
That missed on the right hand side of the peg, didn't it?
Well, I'm not 100% sure it's it. Let's have a look.
So quite a long way away, probably 2 balls away.
Yeah.
You know, if you're missing to a ball by a ball, you're always hitting the peg.
Do you think Ewan's hitting a bit too hard, and thereby losing his swing a bit? What's he saying?
So Keith was asking about Ewan's pace of strike, and he is a hard hitter. So that wasn't anywhere near full power from Ewan. So for most people, I would look at it and go, oh, he hit that really hard. But Ewan could easily have hit that another 5 miles an hour harder.
Yeah,
and that would have been thrashy then.
Right.
Whereas I felt it was just his hard shot.
Right.
One of the things I think I'd like to mention about Hurlingham is I played here quite a lot over the years, and I always found if I was shooting east to west, I would just strike the ball fairly smoothly, just nice and gently, and if I hit it straight, it would almost always hit. Whereas if I was shooting north to south, it could hill off.
Right.
So I would always shoot harder north, south than east, west. If you gave me a shot from 3 to 2 or 2 to 3, I'd be hitting that 8 times out of 10 normally. It was such a nice shot to hit here.
Right.
You just felt so confident. Whereas the long lift shots, you could start it off at the middle and it could just drift unless you hit it really quite hard. So that was sort of a halfway house. It was sort of going southeast. Harry will now just try and make hoop 1, probably just off the black. He won't bother getting a rush back on black to blue here, and after hoop 1 he'll try and go back to blue.
Yeah, well, blue's not in a corner, is it? So it's easier to develop it.
Yeah, much easier, but you do need a rush out of hoop 1.
Yes.
Or else you'll be taking off to hoop 2.
Yeah.
And it's not the best hoop 2 pioneer, is it?
Not ideal.
But he's done the main thing.
He could have been taking off from blue with a thick takeoff, getting it out to hoop 4.
Which is what
maybe, if he. But that yellow is, you need a rush on that yellow, don't you?
You do. Remembering, it's not just about making hoop 2. It's about making hoop 2 with control to get a rush over to hoop 3, so you can peel it after hoop 3.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Then again,
and his rush, this
poor
rush to 1 is, it's just a bit loose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we've had James Death has sent me a WhatsApp message with updates from the cricket pitch games.
Okay. Yeah.
And he says Death, Morgan, Fields, and McCorkindale have all had balls round.
Now Fields is the one which we need to highlight there.
Yeah.
Now he's playing Rob.
Okay. Well, the bad news for Robert Fulford fans is that he has missed his lift.
Right.
Stuart Lawrence and Ben Rothman hit their lifts, and Kyle Malouf yet to shoot.
Right.
And that was actually 9 minutes ago. So there'll be some progress since then. So Harry's got through 1.
He's got a rush
really well
at fourth corner.
He's saying a rush.
He'll regard this as a rush. For us, it's a hit in case.
It's a punt, isn't
but,
it? You hope nice smooth one in the middle and see where it actually goes.
Oh my word! Well.
You probably certainly saw, may even have heard the reaction to that. Not a happy bunny.
And
the
Harry's
technique broke down there, I thought.
Well, Harry's good at that distance.
Yeah,
Well, talk us through what you thought about the technique.
well,
then,
he just seemed to stop swinging through and suddenly shove the mallet head at the ball.
So
What did you think?
A little bit more of a wristy follow through rather than a forearm follow through.
Yeah, that's what I saw. But what did you think?
I didn't think the tempo broke down, and that's not my number one thing I work on.
Okay.
If the tempo changes, then anything can go wrong. But yeah, it wasn't as good a forearm extension as perhaps Harry might have wanted. The good thing from his point of view is it hasn't given a trivial breakaway.
I think it looked like this. I'm just being careful here because Harry's not too far away. It looked like the sort of swing where you've actually just coming into impact, you've tightened your grip.
And Ewan's got his first Croquet.
Yeah, well,
Now, there's going to be lots of people here going, my word, that was an amazingly aggressive shot. But throughout this match, you're going to see Ewan take a lot of shots that for most people wouldn't be regarded as sensible. But his whole game revolves around hitting in and having lots of balls to play with.
Yes.
He's not going to be able to pick breaks up using precision methods like approaching a hoop, getting a tight rush out of it, rushing to a spot, niggling a ball out, rushing. He's going to be about playing big shots.
Yeah.
They may be 3 or 4 yard hoops, they may be running a hoop and hitting a ball in a corner, and they may be taking shots at maybe 10 yards like that give him the world.
Well, here's his first Croquet stroke.
It's a good one. It's a really good one. No, it's just come up short. I thought he'd got an extra yard on the blue, but he'll be happy with that, I think. I know Red's gone outside our box, but the number one priority was getting a rush to hoop one, and he hasn't actually cut it as well as I thought he might.
Well, I think he still thinks he's easily making this hoop.
I do as well.
But he may be running it down to red and yellow, though.
Correct.
Potentially.
Correct. But
he's got right in front of it.
Yeah, he's got a really good gentle hoop stroke. He's got a really good hard hoop stroke, but he can just stroke this through, as he has done.
Yeah.
So that's a big advantage. We're going to say lots about his big game, but he does have a gentle hoop stroke.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
So that's really positive. And here he can send black to 3, going to red and yellow.
I think we can fairly confidently say he won't be looking at the TPO.
No, this will be a ball to 4 back.
Yeah.
And ideally, we would want to get a rush on yellow to red, wouldn't we, Keith?
How's his black doing?
It's on the lawn.
I think it's
halfway
between.
between.
Gone a little bit far, but it's not bad. He's got
a rush on red.
He could. Do you think he'll see that as an option? Putting red there.
I would definitely be sending red level with hoop 3.
I'm sure.
And again, going back to one of the things I think that has happened this morning.
So he's not seeing that as a problem.
No. So that's just he's putting a pivot out.
Yeah.
This is for all those beginners out there. This is what the type of break you're going to be playing. You know, he's going to have a pivot near the peg, and he's just going to keep trying to put pioneers out, and he's going to think black's actually quite reasonable. Whereas Keith and myself are looking at that, going, that's a potential problem.
Yeah. How's he done here? That's not bad.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Hasn't got a rush back to red.
Well, yeah. Will he be trying to get a rush on red here? I'd like to see him try and go.
It would be nice.
Yeah.
And just for viewers, that rush on red would be back towards the black, back towards the north boundary. So he hasn't got crosswise from it.
Look at this yellow. Look at this yellow. It's just going a bit. I've seen it go further, but it did go a little bit to the east. The point I was also going to make is this morning rain we've had, this little shower, I think it's a big advantage to Ewan. If the lawns were 13 seconds and they're now about maybe 12.3, that slight easing of the pace is a much bigger advantage to Ewan than it is to Harry. Yeah.
So this shot is difficult.
Well,
and he hasn't got there.
No, he hasn't got behind it, but I'm not sure he'll see that as a problem. Because he's got balls ahead of him, red and yellow. This will be stamped down the lawn and we'll get about a 3-foot hoop. Actually, he's done well there.
That's a
good shot.
good shot.
He's getting better at those.
Yeah, anyone would be happy with that.
Yeah, and he's running nicely.
Yeah. So it's not going to be showing the precision that we've mentioned with a lot of the players we've watched.
Yeah.
It's going to be a different type of break, but he's going to be using his abilities, and these shots that you've just seen, that hoop approach from 5 yards that would scare a lot of people, he's now gradually building more shots into his repertoire, almost day by day.
Yeah.
And as an opponent, that makes him quite a difficult person to play, because where you might have seen him a week ago and you go, well, he can't do that, so I'll take that line of play. Now he is finding different shots in his repertoire that he has now got the ability to play, and judging how difficult a turn he's capable of playing, most of the people here, you know the answer.
Yes.
But you don't know the answer against Ewan.
No, point taken. Well, I played doubles with Ewan in our inter-counties championship, and last year, so that's 14 months ago.
Yep.
14 months ago, he probably didn't know what a 4-ball break was.
No.
But so we weren't playing alternate stroke. He was playing with strokes, but I was walking around with him, and I had to tell him, and he wanted me to tell him literally what to do on every shot.
Yeah,
and on day one he couldn't play a break, and by day 3 he was making going to 4-back with a diagonal spread.
Yeah. The natural talent is there.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah. But yes, on day 1 I would sort of say, well, just hit red, thinking, he'll hit red, he'll go 2 or 3 yards, goes off the other end of the lawn.
Yeah. Now that's a bad shot.
Yeah, and he knows it's a bad shot. Yeah. Has he got enough of a rush on the pivot to put red there?
Yeah, but he won't be doing.
Okay.
He'll just probably get a rush up there and try and tidy it up that way. But again, had the lawn been as fast as they were yesterday, yellow's another 2.5 yards. And then it is starting to get very close to a boundary. And we had a chat with Ewan last night, and I was saying, I was explaining to Rob Fulford, who hasn't seen Ewan play very much,
right.
Ewan finds corners very scary. Because they're very close to going off the lawn, and Ewan expanded a little bit and he said, actually I find the boundaries quite scary as well. So he'll be viewing yellow as not close to a boundary.
Yeah.
He's given himself a lot of room here, so he can get black 2-1 back and get a rush on red north.
Typically this ball goes too far. We've seen people, that looks good to me.
That's a good shot.
That's very good, because he's got a rush on red.
Yeah.
And black's nice. It's outside of the rectangle, but I don't see that as a bad thing for that hoop. Now then,
again, all our expectation levels about shots are different. Watching Ewan, we want him to be the right side of a ball, even if it's 4 yards the right side of it.
Sure.
Ewan's one of the best golf croquet players in England.
He is.
And for all the golf croquet players, hopefully tuning in and having a look at association, it just shows how quickly, if you know how to take position well and your touch is okay and you're good at running hoops, you're actually going to be quite good at association croquet reasonably quickly, aren't you?
Yeah, should be.
So go and give it a go at your own club. And he was a long way away from that, and he's hit it at exactly the right angle.
Exactly.
At
Yeah.
almost perfect pace.
Yeah.
And he's almost,
He needs to get up the hill here. And he has. There's just a slight hill there. Certainly on the penalt side. Perhaps less so on the hoop 6 side.
Yeah.
How are we doing for comments? Because we have had some golf croquet players watching. Louise Smith asked us a question the other day.
So we're asked, when do best of 5 start? and we're anticipating best of fives from the last 16 onwards.
Just see that yellow. He actually put yellow down a good line there.
It just hilled,
And
didn't
it's hilled, yeah.
Okay.
So,
So no best of fives today. Definitely best of fives in the quarterfinals.
so the big question is, will there be best of fives tomorrow?
And I think the answer will be yes.
Okay.
There've been no real signs that you're not going to be able to finish a best of five in a day.
So do you think the reason for not having them today is what?
I don't know, to be honest, because all the matches are single banked. I thought we would have best of fives today. So
Is there perhaps a concern that matches might take longer at Surbiton?
they might do, but Surbiton isn't as fast.
Right.
So it's only running about 11 seconds. The hoops are probably going to be in fresh holes today and firmer and all that, but I wouldn't have thought it would have been too difficult. A good example there of Ewan's gentle hoop stroke.
It was a good example. It made me a bit nervous on the approach because he kind of just does a little feather.
Little tappy.
Tappy feather, and sometimes he completely underhits that.
Yeah.
He got it right there.
So he's swapping the balls over here.
Yeah, that's
Which
advanced. That is advanced. I'd like to have seen him get a rush on red. West of hello.
So now he's going to not be able to get this all the way there.
Oh, he quite likes these sort of split shots that in theory you can't even play.
I like these, just natural shots. He hasn't done it very well. Blue's fine.
Yeah, blue's fine.
But he's played it almost with a more of a half roll type shot, whereas it's actually stop shot.
Yeah.
When you're playing these wide angles, you need to play it with a stop shot, and then you can get more into that red ball, get it further. So again, we'd be looking at this, most people going, he's got a hit in. He'll be completely comfortable with this.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
He's a bit harder than I thought he might, so he's a bit further in front of this hoop.
How long is this approach?
But
two and a half.
This is a hoop you can run to the boundary, isn't it?
Yeah, just need to keep yellow on the lawn, don't you?
So he's made sure he's
stayed
in front of it, and this will be a hard, firm shot.
Yeah, and he's coped well.
And it's actually quite smooth.
Yeah, well,
it wasn't at all thrashy. It was a really nice technical stroke.
I have seen him thrash at those.
Yeah, and if you get to watch Ewan from directly behind or directly in front, he's really good technically. Solomon grip player with a good straight swing. Once he's in rhythm, quite a good tempo. So he's trying for a diagonal spread again.
Yeah. So
yellow.
This needs to be quite a good shot, doesn't it? To just get that's gone miles.
And to me, arguably the wrong side of the peg. I'd much rather have had it a little bit south and a little bit north.
Sure. I mean, black was that side, so you don't want to be sending it into black.
No, probably not. Nice takeoff. Nice rush to three back.
Those shots he plays quite nicely.
That was the hill you mentioned.
Yeah.
Started off probably just outside the right wire, hilled into the left hand wire.
We can't tell, but he may well be okay here.
So if red is in the jaws, he'll be able to place blue in contact with it.
As long as blue hasn't started to run the hoop, that's the key.
And he's quite rightly calling a referee, because if it's marginal, you want to mark this red first.
Yeah.
Because you might move it as you place it in contact, and then it's really quite important. Have we got a referee?
Oh yes.
Yep, here we go.
It's Rocket Rod Ashwell.
And Rod's a Yorkshire player, isn't he?
He certainly is, yes.
So you can mark the red, and it looks to me as if red's just poking into the jaws.
Well, that's what it looks like to me as well.
But it looks like it's on the far side, so the eastern side. So if he plays it from the jaws, he's going to end up with a rush pointing towards corner 3 rather than towards yellow. However, corner 3 isn't bad given where yellow is. So it might actually work quite well for him here.
Yes, he wants to be rushing. Well, straight rush it up the lawn. No further west than that, I think, given where yellow is. No,
Always got a preference from putting the markers further away from the hoop than this.
Yeah.
Try and use the edges of the ball to line up with the edges of the hoop. You just sometimes, the ball rolls over them and they come out of the ground, or the mallet follows through and flicks them up, so now he's taking the markers away because he's satisfied. That's not good. So we'd normally play a little tap.
Yeah, keep blue in the hoop.
Keep blue in the hoop, and now Rod's going to have to come back on the lawn to watch a hampered shot. So the shot was clean, no problem with that, but it's caught some wire, and now, well, it does look easy, but it's only probably a 98%er.
Yeah.
There we go, made it look very easy. And ideally, would have liked to have hit red another 3 or 4 yards to get on a better rush line on yellow.
Well, yes, and he probably would have done had he run the hoop
Properly.
Yeah. So what's he? He's. Do you think he's gone? Yeah, red's not far enough.
However, red isn't particularly important. The most important ball here is yellow.
Yeah.
Because Harry wants to play the red.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's left yellow quite a short shot from the end of B-bulk isn't as serious as it would be if either Harry was on 1 and 1, 1 and 2.
Getting this cross-pegged is quite important.
This is really important because red's so short if he doesn't get the cross-peg.
And it's one of those feathery
good.
ones. It's good, Joe. It's a lovely touch.
That was difficult because it was going across the line.
He may not know that. But
it's always a good thing not to know in many ways.
Yeah.
He's got a good rush on part to the boundary, and he can leave a rush pointing either at red or yellow. The key thing is he doesn't give red any sort of target.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because Harry will want to be picking this red up. And against Ewan, you probably fancy taking the defensive shot down to corner 4 and taking a ball out of his break.
Well, in a way, I don't think it matters because he's not going to do a TP.
I think red does have half a ball of yellow.
Right, I'll go and look this time.
Okay. So, well done, Ewan. Break to fullback. The lead is okay, we think. We think red might have half a ball at yellow. Yellow doesn't want to shoot particularly because yellow's already made 9 hoops. Keith's on his way back and he'll let us know.
Well, he's got some of yellow. He's got a little bit of yellow.
Little bit, okay.
Yeah.
But equally, as you mentioned last time, he doesn't want to hit the peg and stay there. No. And it is more important not to do that against Ewan than it would be for Ewan against Harry. A higher skilled player wouldn't mind the ball being out as much.
Well, Ewan will be, if he gets the chance, he will only be looking to pick up another break and take it round.
Yeah. So there are 2 ways to think about this. The first is Harry can take any shot he wants, knowing Ewan's not going to do a triple peel.
Yeah.
So he can take the shorter shot he wants. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, if he takes the defensive shot, red from corner 3 down at black into corner 4, Ewan has to play a 3-ball break for 3 hoops before he picks it up. And if he runs hoop 1 and croquets a ball to hoop 3 and it goes part way to the corner, maybe that's going to be enough to get an error.
Sure, yeah.
So there are, I think, probably 3 or 4 different shots, but I do think Harry will play the red. Did you look at what target he's got with black and blue?
Single ball.
Single ball?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect single ball target. No chance of hitting black.
So he's having a go at this sort of half ball at about, what do we think, 9 yards?
Yeah. But he's got to be accurate, and then he's only going to get the left half of yellow.
Yeah, he's hit it. He's hit it. Just moved it a ball. Blake's won 26 TP, I think Ewan's telling us. So that's Fulford game down. In what I thought would be a straightforward match. could easily see Blake making some points, but not winning 26 TP. They are on the cricket pitch, and the cricket pitch is slower, isn't it? So it's not as quick as these front lawns.
Yeah, I've not. I've seen a little bit of play. I mean, historically it's slower. Have you seen many games on the cricket pitch?
Yeah. It's much slower.
Yeah. Well, these are considerably faster than they
Would
historically
normally be.
have been.
Yeah. So Harry simply moving yellow away from the peg there.
I'm not happy with that. That's his pioneer for 3. He's for hoop 2. That's his pioneer for 3, as well as being his P-Lee.
It is.
Again, that didn't look smooth to me. Does he always do that? I mean, I noticed it on that.
He has quite a punchy
shot.
shot.
It looks like the action of somebody who, as he comes into the hitting area, starts gripping his mallet harder, like a tense sort of reaction, rather than just letting the mallet do the work.
Oh, it's interesting actually, because I used to grip it quite lightly playing AC, but quite firmly playing GC.
Okay, why is that?
It was more about shooting. So I would still grip it lightly for positional shots, but for shooting, Jenny mentioned the other day that the firmer you grip it, the less the mallet twists when you hit it off centre as well.
Well, that has to be true, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but equally, more you might be prone to twist it as you're gripping it.
You may be. So good rush to hoop 2 from the east boundary, got within a yard of the hoop, and the only negative is this slightly weak P-Lee at hoop 3, which he needs control over, but if he gets a rush back to black after the hoop here, he should have enough control to get to a tight position after hoop 3. That's overhit.
Yeah.
Oh, that was uphill as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That stopped. So lawn's clearly slower than yesterday with this rain.
Right, so
failed the hoop. That is amazing. Can we get a replay of that? Have we managed to hold that? Oh, fantastic work. Oh, it's just gone. Looked straight into the middle of the far wide, didn't it?
Yeah.
And really, what we've said is, if you do stroke it, and he did stroke that.
Yeah. Well, you're going to hit the target. Right?
You know, they tend to go through, and
yeah. Well, if he'd slapped at that or down that line, it'd have probably bounced out, wouldn't he?
Now we do have an interesting choice here. Ewan's got a 1-yarder at maybe a third of the ball.
Yeah.
And he's got a 11-yarder with the ball he wants to play. And every other player in the tournament, I'm going to say, hit your 1-yarder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ewan is not necessarily that player. And if he plays with black, it's an okay choice of shot.
Right. That's quite a big call. Because I think Ewan is probably going to play blue. I've had an update from James Death, correspondent out on the cricket field. He's confirmed Blake's one up on Rob. Morgan against Rothman is break all.
Yeah.
Morgan has a second break going.
Okay.
No, he's written McCorkindale on 2 against Maloof. What do you think that typo might be?
On 2.
On 2. What was it? McCorkindale had a ball round before.
Yeah, I think it just should be TWO, and he's actually on hoop 2.
Maybe.
Maybe on a break.
Maybe. Anyway, Death is 1 and 4 back against Lawrence, who's 5 and 4 back, setting a lead.
Oh right, okay.
So
some interaction there.
A bit of interaction there. Yeah.
And Ewan is finding this shot. think if blue had an open ball at red, he would have played blue. But it's only got a third of a ball.
Well, the way he got in, he just nicked that roquet.
He did.
So
But he's had a break since then.
nailed that one.
And that's the sort of shot that I don't think anyone else in the tournament is going to take.
Really?
And it's part of what makes him scary.
Hmm.
Both blue and red both rush to hoop 1. And I think I would be tempted to roll yellow to hoop 2 and get a rush on blue to red.
Okay. I'm not sure he's going to do that personally, but we'll see. This is crying out for a pivot. This situation.
He does like his pivot.
He does.
And
but
one of the other good
he's
places.
He's done a takeoff, and he's going to do a pop.
Well, doing a pop's not bad.
No.
That might make it quite a lot more difficult for Harry to get a standard TP.
Yeah, pop is a peel on the opponent. Sorry to people who don't know all the jargon.
So hitting red through hoop 2, as he has done. And it's actually come out at a nice angle to give him a good rush line to hoop 1. So things you've got to be avoiding here are rolling red into hoop 7, into 1 back. You don't want it in a hoop, do you?
You don't want that. You don't want it in the way of the rush
And
on
then
blue.
correct. So both of those things were things to avoid.
Now he just needs a good straight, smooth.
That's the wrong
Put
side.
some cut on it.
I think having red there might just have been playing in the back of his mind.
Well, maybe.
So he's 7 yards away from hoop 1,
And he
approaching it across the angle.
Yeah. Well, he played a nice approach to get his first break going. This one's a bit harder.
This is good.
That's travelled.
That's lovely.
Oh, it's pretty good.
He'll be happy with that. I know it's halfway to the boundary, but it's almost straight.
Now, can he smooth this one through?
As you mentioned before, he's got red. He could run it to.
Yeah. This is where actually he would be. Oh, he's done nicely.
So it's gone past red.
Oh, he has come past red.
Now he can rush red back to blue.
Yeah.
Rush blue to yellow.
Yeah.
Blue can go for the 4 back, and he can do his first ever triple peel. No?
Well, yes, it's all there. It's all there.
Would have been nice to have hit that on the other side, so you could have sent a hoop 4 pioneer out.
Yeah.
Because that's sort of in the middle of the lawn. He's taking across blue. The good thing is that if you underhit this next shot, you can rush blue to hoop 2.
Yeah.
But we'd much prefer to rush it to yellow.
Is that because we're hoping that he has a go at the TP? Or is that just because that's what we'll be trying to do?
Well, I think mainly it's because he'll get a better hoop 3 pioneer.
Yeah.
So let's start with the basics. Whether he gets excited, because he knows how to do a triple peel.
Oh, sure.
He just hasn't managed to put all the shots together in the same turn yet.
Yeah.
And then he's looking at hoop 2 here, I think.
I got a couple of games with him. I think we had 3 games
Oh, he's overcut that.
at the counties this year. And we certainly had two goes at triples, but until something absolutely horrendous went wrong, I thought we were going to complete them.
Yeah.
Well, when I say we, it was Ewan playing the shots and me telling him what to do. Now this is the one that you've got to be very careful here.
Stop.
It's
okay.
He's
okay.
done all right.
That's a really good shot, actually. I'd be completely happy with that.
Yeah, sure. And running this to the boundary, you'll be happy with as well, won't it? I think. Yeah.
And
But what I was worried about, actually, because don't know if you've seen it, but certainly while I've been commentating here, just wait till Ewan's gone. A lot of people have approached hoop 2 just thinking, knock a ball deep to receive. It's receive after one hoop. powers off the ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
End of turn.
And as well as that, I've seen a lot of people play the approach and, you know, walk after the striker's ball thinking this is going to finish nicely in front, and it's finished inside the yard line several times as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, these north boundaries, you can see on the camera footage, you've got that little bit of brown. They're not the pure green that some of the rest of the lawns are, and they are a little bit faster, aren't they?
Well, they are, but I think it also is a bit of a slope. And it's sort of it's not the whole of its north boundary, but it's sort of from maybe 2 or 3 yards east of 2 and then most of the way to the corner.
Yeah, they do all, well, lawn 3 and lawn 4 both hill off.
Yeah, Pete Trimmer had a horrendous take-off yesterday.
Behind corner 2. You
and
can
he was
see
only
the slope
coming,
though.
Yeah, you can see the slope.
You can see that flag's lower than the rest of it. So he's had to take off to this poor hoop 3 pioneer, and he's once again going to be approaching it from 5 yards straight.
I think this break's at risk here. He did it very well on his first break, but this is the first major bit of risk, I think.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you think it's at risk because he's got the 5 yard approach, or because he's got a ball in hoop 4?
No, I think it's at risk because he's got the other balls quite nicely positioned. And it's one of those where, you say...
Good call, that, Keith.
All he had to do then was run 3 and he's round.
Yeah.
Whereas I find with him, his concentration is much better when he's having to work and get the break out.
Right.
And when he thinks, or most of us might sort of think, oh, we've done all hard work, you can suddenly pull out something where you go, well, were you concentrating on that?
Yeah.
So
very interesting position. Harry wants to play the red.
Well, he absolutely does.
If he does hit with the red, he's got a standard triple all over.
Yeah, well, he's going to play red and blue, isn't he?
But it depends. Is blue in the draws? In which case he might not.
I think he will.
In terms of breaking down,
I don't think if it's in hoop 4, it's not very far in. I don't think. Oh, he's having a go at yellow. Okay.
As the better player, this isn't the shot you want to have to take, is it? Because it's long, it's about 10 yards, and you know if you miss it,
the break's continue.
The break just carries on.
Yeah.
Just flicks it.
Yeah.
So now
it looks a bit smoother, actually, to me. The timing, tempo is there again. So, I don't think he's going to go to blue, is he? But can he roll yellow to peeling position and still have an easy roquet on black?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a hill that goes east here. So you don't want to finish level with black. Nice pass roll. Now is he going to hill?
He's had a bit of hill, but he's okay.
That's okay. So yellow nicely behind the hoop, ready for the peel afterwards. And just calling a referee on to make sure. Sometimes you could hit the red into the near wire and black might shake, but not actually make a roquet. So just calling Rod on again, and he'll stand this side and make sure red does hit the black. He's missed it. I thought he missed that.
Oh well, it's been given.
Harry looked very confident that he'd hit it.
Yeah, I think he probably just. I mean, black moved.
Yeah,
Did it move just because he hit the wire, or because red then grazed it?
Correct. You don't know from here. You don't know from here, and that's why you get a referee to watch.
Yeah.
Need to be much closer than we are to make a judgment on that,
sure,
and at a much better angle.
But what we can say is it wasn't the contact that he was wanting.
It's a really bad shot.
Yeah.
And that is not great either, to be perfectly honest.
Well, he's not been able to get south of yellow, has he?
No.
And he didn't really have much chance because the only thing Black was doing was going straight through, and I'm not sure I would have tried to hold Red in the hoop.
It's risky if you try and
It's very risky
put Red in the
because
hoop.
you've basically got to play a shot that is going to ensure that Red doesn't run the hoop.
Yeah, and
then he's basically aiming to hit a wire with it.
the positive thing about this is he knows he can tap yellow and play a dead straight peel.
Yeah.
Because Black's in an okay escape ball position.
Well,
but
he's actually just cut that slightly. Did he have to do that?
no.
Well, he seems to be fine.
From our
Seems
experience, when you're peeling from 2 yards, 7 feet, at 4 back here, even if you line it up dead straight, it's probably going to move a little bit before it gets to the hoop. Probably left to right, as Harry looks at it.
Yeah.
So the question is, do you start aiming partially into the left-hand wire? And that's never nice.
No.
So jawsing this, I think it would be a good result. Peeling it would be fantastic.
Jawsing is fine. And he's taking it. Yeah, you see
That's
that
not
had
good.
no chance, did it? Because do we think it moved, or has he just put some pull on it?
Well, I mean, it has gone straight into the wire we anticipated, which is the right-hand wire.
He did hit it. He hit it fairly firmly.
But it
Could have moved an inch, couldn't it?
Yeah, could easily have moved an inch on that line, on that hoop. And now it looks like a really tough rush peel. You'd never try and rush peel that after hoop 4. It's a disaster waiting to happen. So it's probably going to be peeled before hoop 6. And that means he's going to need a rush out of hoop 5. Slightly unusually took the option of rushing Black to hoop 5 there. I think we would both have rushed part way there and played a croquet stroke, but he was right on top of it, so I do occasionally play those.
Yeah. Well, he's done okay with Black, but he's still got this slightly tricky approach to Blue.
Yeah, so he's gone south of it again. He probably might call a referee again.
Yeah, I think he will do.
Given how bad the last shot on the ball and who was.
Indeed.
No, he's just carrying on. So it's clearly well in the middle of the hoop, this. It's not just...
Well, that explains why I didn't try and hit it first shot of the turn,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. He's hit it quite firmly. Perhaps another thing we ought to mention is in the distance we've got dark clouds. If they come over, that will definitely be rain. But it's still quite pleasant and sunny at the moment.
Well, there are no further updates from our cricket pitch correspondent, so I'm going to guess that he's in play at the moment.
Yeah. Let's just have a look at some...
How are we doing on comments?
Someone was saying Aston must be a chance against Reg, and Aston, look, he's one of the best players in the bottom 8, don't get me wrong, but beating Reg on a front lawn at Hurlingham
It's a
is big ask. I would say Aston has a decent chance against Reg if Reg fails 2 sextuples. Otherwise, I expect Reg to win comfortably.
Well, from what I can see, Reg is at least part way through the sextuple.
Yeah, so Alison's quite rightly answered that question about moving the ball and finding the maker's mark, putting it against the croquet ball to get a more consistent result, and it minimises the effect of the milling. You don't want the milling gripping in, and that will have a lot of pull. And yeah, some people definitely do it on every croquet stroke. I don't, but on peels, yeah, it can be a big advantage. Just getting that more consistent result. So Harry's done well to get a rush out of hoop 5 now.
Yes, we've seen a lot of people look as though they were going to, but actually then run past the reception ball and have to play the ugly split shot, sending a ball to one back, going to the Pelee.
Yeah, and red now only having to move 4 yards instead of about 16.
Now, what's he going to do here? This is going to one back.
This is a genuine one back pan here.
Yeah, which is fine.
I think it's correct, actually.
Yeah.
I like having it in a place where if the peel doesn't go through, I can still play a take-off peel going to it.
Yeah.
So that's a good ball.
Yeah, that fits the bill.
Very nice, and he can just flick this on the left-hand side and get it in the jaws. It's just bounced back in front, but it's fine. He'll be able to peel that. And the focus is just playing a nice shot with your red to get a dolly rush to hoop 6. And you shouldn't ever fail to get the peel from here.
Again, if for some reason you needed to focus on the rush to 6, maybe perhaps because blue's in a different place, jawsing yellow is fine.
Yeah, I would prefer to peel it by about a foot here. It's nice, that's ideal. Apart from, has he got the hoop in play? No, the hoop's not in his play at all. So he should be absolutely fine here. Just putting it through by a foot rather than a yard just gives you more space if you get a rush back to corner 3, and then you can potentially get the peels a little bit earlier instead of having to send yellow all the way to 2 back as your 2 back pan here. So that has finished okay, but he's not going to get a rush to corner 3 from that.
Well, no. But he should be making hoop 6. This is a first priority. Sometimes you play these too delicately.
So we've got another question here. I'm going to ask you it first, Keith.
Okay, what's that?
It's a prediction, and Felix Webby is asking how many sextuple peels do the commentators predict will be completed in the knockout?
Okay. So it's 5 rounds.
5 rounds, yeah.
And so okay, so 9, 11, 13, it might be 13, possibly 15. Sorry, 14.
14 would be your guess?
No. I'm just how many goes do I get?
How many goes do I? Oh, right, I see.
No, sorry, might get 3, 6. For winning games, I'll get perhaps 13 or 14 goes each. The people who are potentially going to do one. Well, okay. I'm going to say. I'm going to say 8.
Okay, I was going to also say 8.
Oh.
With the proviso that the number will be lower if Blake Fields beats Robert Fulford.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
So, yeah, 8. 8's our best guess at the moment. So Paddy's saying about what do we think about getting down on the ground to line up the edges.
Okay.
And
for a peel, or
for a peel, yeah. And I don't, but I do use the edges to line it up. So I will stand above it and look down the edges or kneel down.
Yeah, I'll have perhaps a squat down.
And
I'll look at the edges, but and also look over the middle.
We need to comment on this, Keith. This yellow has absolutely been lost.
Yeah.
It's on the lawn,
yeah,
but it's probably only a yard off the yard line.
Yeah, that's the good bit. It's on the lawn, and he's also going to be. He's going to do well to hold black near the one-back hoop.
Oh, it's not a yard on. It's about 2 inches inside
Was it?
the yard line.
Right.
Yeah, he's had to put his mallet down, and it's probably 2 or 3 inches off the yard line.
Oh, right.
So really interesting. He's got to hit away from one back now,
Yeah.
and he needs to get not just a 3-back pioneer with black, but a rush on blue all the way to yellow.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think we can say yesterday, yellow would have been off.
Yeah.
That little change of pace, yellow would have been off. So yeah, I mean, Paddy, I suppose if I was more athletic, perhaps I might get down on the ground. But
You'd have to get up again then.
exactly, and certainly nowadays that takes quite a long time. So I'm quite pleased I don't have to be getting down on the ground all the time. So he's sent black the opposite side to what I would have done. I would have been trying to get a rush back towards the blue.
Well, I think he didn't like the
Angle of approach.
angle of split would have been a lot wider.
It
to
would.
do that.
Well, I just think you've got to play that.
Yeah, well, it's the mark of a good player that you can basically play whatever hoop approach is needed.
Well, it's again
Right.
going back to that clock method.
Indeed.
You know, practice approaching from 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Because otherwise you're going to play this croquet stroke where you're going across the rush line of blue. Whereas if I'm on the end of B bulk, I'm much more coming down a rush line. Or if I'm, even behind hoop 3, obviously you don't want to be directly behind hoop 3, but you're on a much better rush line to get a rush on blue to yellow.
This is very interesting, this shot.
Because you're saying it's going to hill,
Yeah, and he's got the peg.
and the peg's in play.
Peg's in play,
So he's made sure the peg isn't in play. I think red's a key ball here.
Yeah, I agree.
So he sent it way left of the peg,
Yeah.
and we think it's going to hill.
Well,
And I'm not giving that red many marks at all, Keith.
it's not a rush to yellow, is it?
I mean,
It's a rush straight into Penalt
Oh,
if he's not careful.
I am looking at this going, blue could finish in the middle of Penalt, and I can't get within 12 yards of yellow.
And this yellow's
Awful.
off the yard line as well.
Oh, he's done well there.
Oh,
He's hit the peg,
oh, he is. Well,
and I think he'll approach 2-back straight
yeah,
away.
he will.
I think this will be a take-off to 2-back.
He has lucked out, as our American colleagues would say, big time. I would say with that.
I'd be very happy with that result. Apart from, I don't like playing takeoffs to hoops.
Well, he's not doing.
He's going to play a roll. That's
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
That's better.
Still not. Still got a bit of work to do, but he can afford to run the hoop firmly. It's done pretty well there.
Yeah, nice shot.
This will be coming through to yellow, right? So in all the excitement, I'm just trying to remember how many peels he's done. He's only done one so far,
Just the
hasn't
one.
he? Yeah.
Just the one, yeah. But apart from having a really bad 3-back pioneer, he's probably okay now. He's going to have enough room to send this to Penalt and get a rush on blue
And put blue in the box
in the box.
and get a rush on black.
Yeah, rush on black is going to be the key.
Yes, because then he wants to rush black to a good position to approach the hoop, such that he then gets a rush back up to Penalt.
Yeah, really want to make sure you rush it south, don't you?
Yeah.
Can't really be approaching from 2 feet north of the hoop and expect to get a rush. So yeah, make sure rush your black ball south, even if you're approaching from 3 yards straight.
Indeed.
It's
Yeah.
better than
Yeah.
1 or 2 feet north of the hoop.
Yeah.
So he's given himself the room there by rushing yellow to corner 1.
Yeah, I'm just having a quick look quick look over at lawn 3 where Reg is playing, Reg Bamford. Now he's playing red, and I assume he's peeling yellow, and yellow looks as though it's at 3 back, and
So
he's just run 2 back.
We think he might be on 3 back and 3 back on a sextuple.
Yeah. Well, that potentially does give Aston a glimmer of a chance, doesn't it?
It does.
Reg is capable, obviously, of doing a straight quadruple, but it suggests that things haven't been going according to plan at certain stages of this turn.
So we'll keep an eye on that for you, but we'll keep focusing on Harry. Yellow's gone up to penultimate. He's finished about 2 yards west. Not perfect, but he got a really nice rush on the blue. That is not where I want to rush blue,
And why is that, Chris?
because you're going to have to go really tight past the black to get a good rush back. And if you just get it slightly wrong and red goes into black, you're left with this horrible long backward takeoff. So he's either got to risk that, or he's going to have a rush that you're going to have to play a reasonable cut rush to 3 back on. So blue's not going to go all the way to 4 back. It's going to finish in this what we call box area, well south of 4 back, so you can peel penult going to it.
He's done all right there.
And that's fine. And he's played a very good shot. Red just grazing past the black and getting a lovely rush. And again, as we mentioned, make sure you hit this south. And that's bad. That's bad. So it's finished exactly where I said you don't want it, north of the hoop. And getting a rush out of this up to yellow means you're going to have to play a very gentle hoop stroke and a thickish takeoff here. So he might just give up and say, no, I'm going to play a thin takeoff, run the hoop and play a roll.
Yeah, but
No,
he's given himself an angled hoop.
And in many ways that can be quite positive here.
He can go, certainly, well, he will be going at it with a bit more commitment, won't he?
So no rush.
Run it very cleanly. So inevitably he's gone past black.
Needs to.
He'll be rolling this, won't he?
Yeah, needs to make sure he doesn't get any equipment, any furniture in the way. So he doesn't want hoop 4 impeding his stance or swing. He doesn't want the peg in the way. So he'll probably have to cut this. Yeah, he cuts it on the right hand side and everything's out of play now. And the focus is on the red ball.
Very much so, yeah.
You want black south of penult, ideally.
So he needs a pass shot. This black's travelling. It's going to be in the way.
I think it's a really good effort with red.
Yeah, it's just a smidge too far though. I don't think he can cut that to peeling position.
It would be a 10 if he could. I mean, you're going to have to hit it, what, 1/20th ball?
Right. Now I'm looking back over at Reg and he's got an angled 3 back and yellow doesn't look like it's been peeled to me.
And do you remember, last year's Opens, Reg had got all the peels of his sextuple done before 3 back. And now we're finding he's at 3 back with only 2 peels done.
Well, we're assuming that, aren't we? I mean,
we are assuming
it would be
that.
amazing if he had got all the peels done by now. Or more than 2 even.
And at the Opens, when we were commentating on Reg, you mentioned you had a chat with him and he was hating playing with the Humpty balls.
That's right, yeah.
This event, there's no excuse.
No, there is no excuse, no.
These are old, nice playing Dawsons. They rush well, they croquet stroke well. They're what he's used to and what he did play fantastic peeling turns, well, really for the last 15 years with. So Harry not only didn't get the yellow ready for the peel before 4 back, he's got it miles away.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
Normally, if you don't get the peel before penult, it's within a foot of penult, preferably straight.
For the start of the straight double.
Straight double, because we're expecting to Irish peel penult. And as soon as balls start going a long way away, the Irish peel becomes more difficult, or the rush to the hoop becomes more difficult.
Yeah.
I think you've mentioned there's a little bit of a hill right to left.
I believe so.
Certainly it's left to right as you approach hoop 6.
Mm.
So we're going to make an assumption it's a little bit right to left when you go to penultimate.
Yeah.
So Reg is sending what we thought the peelie was towards 2-back.
Yeah.
So maybe he's only done one peel. Is he doing a TPO? And he might be doing a TPO.
Good point.
And peeling partner. So
Now,
it's not as bad as it looked, if that is the case.
You may recall that somebody assured me at Nottingham that Reg never TPOs, and yet he's done several in the block stage.
And he's been having Robbie Fletcher stay with him, and Robbie Fletcher's been telling him about how good this tactic is. And if you remember, I rubbished it on day one.
You did.
I said of the options, going to 1-back and then doing a TPO and pegging 2 balls out at Hurlingham is the worst of the 3 options.
I've spoken to Robbie and I've spoken to Reg, and I think Reg is a convert.
So I don't like it. I think it takes one of Reg's main weapons out, which is just doing a sextuple. It's one of the reasons he's won so much at this venue. Harry, in the meantime, has not rushed as close as I would want.
No.
And it isn't straight either.
No.
It's just about 5 degrees off.
This is for an Irish peel here. This is dodgy.
We've also got the potential he could peel it quite a long way, run the hoop by an inch and not be able to hit black, because black isn't by the side. This is a position that Stephen Mulliner says he's never broken down from in his life.
Really?
Yeah.
That's okay.
So Harry lining up the edges.
Is that a bit of a Jack Nicklaus sort of comment?
Quite possibly. Lining up the left-hand edges of the balls to go inside the left-hand wire, and the right-hand edges of the ball to go inside the right-hand wire. And after he's done that, he'll just pretend he's running the hoop.
That's right.
With red.
Yes. Yeah. You're basically just trying to run the hoop with red, which isn't straightforward.
It's twice as difficult as normal, because any error you make is multiplied by 2.
And if yellow sticks in the jaws and red bounces off it, then it's game over.
So he's been lucky with red. Red's nicely in the jaws, but yellow hasn't got past the peg.
No, but he's not behind the peg.
So he's going to have to rush to it from 7 yards away.
Yeah, and
That means he needs a deep ball.
well, black can go deep.
Yep. But black goes deep, you got to play a 3/4 roll probably to get past the blue, to rush blue up past
Well, he's
yellow
got a
again.
rush. He's got a rush here.
Yeah, he can probably get this halfway down there, can't he? And just play a drive.
Certainly get it peg high. No, in fact, he's done better than that. I think that's okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
But yeah, put this deep, and then I'd still want blue as a side ball.
I would want to be rushing blue
So I'm
3
yeah.
3 yards north of yellow.
I'm not just trying to get a dolly rush on yellow.
No.
I'd have to do something with blue.
Yep. So for viewers, there are 2 alternatives. He could put this deep and get a rush on blue on top of yellow, and then leave blue just at the peg and get the most perfect rush you've ever had to rover, peel it, and then
Ball.
go to the deep ball, maybe with a jump shot.
Stop there. Hold the front page, Chris. Black isn't anything like deep,
I don't understand that.
unless blue's going deep. But
That would not make sense.
no, it wouldn't. No.
You'd always send black.
Well, you've got a chance. You send black because, well, I'm not sure blue's going deep.
So
the chat's perked up a
question about why isn't anyone doing one peel of the TPO on the way to one back? And I have no idea, Jack. I mean, if you're going to do this turn that I don't like, this TPO, and try some 1 or 2 peels on partner, well, you can get 3 or 4 peels on partner if you just get 1 peel of the TPO done.
yeah.
On your way to one back, and it isn't difficult most of the time, and that is not good. He's miles away from this, Keith, and angled. Is he even going to go for this?
Well, he's stopping to think. I think he will. Don't you? I think he's.
I'm in two minds.
Well, if you've got a deep ball.
If you had a deep ball, you go for it every single time.
Yeah.
There's no massive danger.
No.
If you haven't got a deep ball, it is fraught with risk. And it could take some time to line this up, because once you've decided you're going to play this shot, you've then got to decide, are you playing it straight and potentially leaving an angled jump shot, or are you going to play it with some pull, which makes the shot a lot more difficult, but gives you a better hoop shot with red.
Going back to your comment about Stephen Mulliner, Stephen very famously in the 1984 Opens final failed to finish by jumping to the boundary and not having a deep ball.
So stop shot peel failed, and he's been lucky that yellow's bounced out of the way.
Yeah, so he doesn't need to jump to the boundary now.
And I think some viewers will be looking at this going, well, he can run this gently, rush yellow back in front, peel yellow, and he's got another point.
And he could peg out red.
We don't like that, do we?
No, I wouldn't recommend that.
So we want a leave out of this.
Yeah, although probably if you were going to do it against somebody, Ewan's the person to do it against.
It is. I'm going to want to try and get blue towards corner 2, because black is on hoop 4 and corner 2 is about as far away as you can get.
Yeah.
And you can't get it to corner 2 having rushed it there.
No, well...
Nor can you get it in the middle of the west boundary, which is your second best place to have it.
Yeah.
You don't want it anywhere near hoop 4. You don't want it anywhere near A or B bulk. So he's already running out of places to put it.
Well, I think it's staying where it is, pretty much.
Which is not a good place.
No.
So black can easily hit wherever red and yellow finish, get a rush on there, and immediately pick up a break. He's looking at the middle of the east boundary. You've got to play a good touch shot to get it tight to the boundary.
Yeah, and if you don't, you've put it in a worse place.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot nearer hoop 4. I think all these things are occurring to him now.
Yeah.
Would he have been better off hitting black first?
Well, he would clearly have been better off hitting black. It was a little bit further away. But yeah, this is what happens when your rover peel at rover goes wrong. You haven't got time to suddenly create a beautiful leave.
Yeah.
It's always got some level of ugliness to it, and this one is going to be particularly ugly.
I think he'll be coming to corner 2 with red and yellow.
Corner 2 is a good place for red and yellow.
It's about as far from hoop 4 as you can get.
Yeah.
Hello, what's happening here? Okay, so presumably he's going to be leaving black over on the east side somewhere.
Well, I was thinking of something alternative, which was rushing partner to the maximum distance spot, taking off to black, rushing black to corner 2, and then whilst you've given a 13-yarder to blue, you've given black something a little bit longer, which is why I would have liked blue to have been 2 yards further north. And then at least he could have maximised the length of black's shot. Again, Ewan wants to play the black probably, because he's got more points to score with black.
Right.
But he is probably going to end up in corner 2 here, with blue just floating in the middle of the lawn and Ewan having a 13-yarder.
Well,
to me, it doesn't really matter how far you send black there. It could have been 3 yards short and not risk going off the lawn.
yeah. So where's this going?
Up to the north boundary and roll them off tight to corner 2.
Okay. Oh,
So don't go into hoop 2.
no,
That's
he's
fine.
avoided that.
And then you can roll them both off a foot apart. Or,
See, that keeps going.
oh, it does, yeah, it's definitely on. And I think we know the shot from B-Bulk. If you hit it gently into corner 2, it will hill half a ball right to left to
Don't
right.
think Ewan will be hitting it gently.
Correct. It should go straightish at Ewan's pace. The one thing, if you put them a foot apart here, blue might have a double. If you put them a yard apart, black might have what we call a shooting gallery.
What's from A-Bolt?
Yeah, from near the end of A-Bulk, with blue in the foreground, and it might have yellow on the right and red on the left. And lots of players quite like shooting galleries,
Okay.
and I'd be going down to A-Bulk and seeing where the perfect shooting gallery is. Because I think there's another choice we haven't looked at, which is croqueting yellow into corner 2, stopping red a yard short on the north boundary. And if all the other options give doubles or shooting galleries, that's not a bad alternative, particularly as you've mentioned, taking off into a ball in corner 2 here can be quite challenging.
Yeah.
So stopping him from hitting that first shot could be quite clever. But he's doing the original option. I think he's rolling both balls off, getting the referee to mark where one goes off, and then he can mark where the other one goes. Definitely no double target for blue.
No, but you can do, if Ewan hits yellow from B-Ball, you can do quite a bit with
He
it.
can dig it out miles, can't he?
yeah.
Miles.
I thought the advantage of coming here was to keep them tight.
Yeah.
So you can't do much with yellow.
You had to play a 3-ball break for 3 hoops, wouldn't
Yeah.
you? Yeah. Not the most difficult 3 hoops because they're close together.
No.
So I think Ewan will either play black at yellow from B-Bulk, or wander to the end of A-Bulk and look at this shooting gallery. Does he fancy it?
Well, from Harry's point of view, the advantage is that Ewan might hit blue.
Correct. And this is why if I'm playing doubles with him, I'm saying no. Black shoots at yellow.
Yeah.
Gives you the most. Just like before, when we were mentioning what shot gives him the most, he's going to be taking that consideration into account more than most of the other players, because he needs more than the other players to go round.
I think he's gone down and had a look.
So Reg finishing off his TPO.
And this is coming to B-Ball.
Pegs out
2
partner as well.
And has he got 2 peels, do we think?
Um,
Because he was lining up, he was setting the balls up to do a 2-back peel before Rover.
yeah, so quite likely.
Yeah. Yep, partner's clips on. 3-back. An interesting one. Now, I'd say Aston's somebody you wouldn't necessarily do this against,
Well, he had
employing his GC skills.
Yeah, I think he had a 9-hoop 2-ball break when he was winning the Chairman's last
Right.
year, which was at Hurlingham. They are more difficult in some ways because of the pace to get rushes out of.
Here we go. There's Ewan's shot. Yeah, so
And yeah, he's saying so close. Normally, when Ewan misses and it's hilled off, you're left in no doubt whatsoever that it's hilled off. But that was simply he just missed it by a very small amount. And Harry will take full advantage, and it's an easy finish to
should
take
be
the
1-0
first
now.
game.
Yeah. Right, we're going to get an update from our cricket pitch correspondent. Right, we've got another message you might need to decipher.
Yeah.
I think it might be Fulford on TP to equalise.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's Fulford on TP to equalise. Yeah.
Corkindale game up, no triple. Morgan straight Rover Peel to finish the first. Death game and break. Lawrence missed the left.
Okay, so I think probably the game to highlight there is the Morgan Rothman. Looks like it's been a really good game. Might have been Morgan's 4 back, Rothman hit the left 4 back, Morgan hits left finish.
Well, we're speculating, but yeah, could
sounds as if that might have been the case. Harry's played a imperfect stroke, managed to get Red slightly in his way of his rush to Rover, so he'll have to play a take off to move Red, or some sort of croquet stroke. You might just be able to slip past it. Yeah, it looks like it's a couple of feet further south than I can see from here, so a thin takeoff will work. Just reading a few more of these comments. Andrew Simons asking about these hills we've been mentioning, Keith.
Yes.
He's saying, how important is lawn allocation? Do you expect players to be re-watching the YouTube coverage if they've not had playing time on lawn 4? I think there's two answers to that. There are some people, I'm thinking about Fulford and Bamford, who have probably played 60 or 70 games on lawn 4.
Yeah.
And they actually know where the hills are. They don't need to watch and learn again. They know where they are. Whereas, if you've only played 2 or 3 or never at all, I would be watching the video. Particularly if I finish by 1 o'clock, and there's a chance to be watching people playing live on lawn 4, or watching a bit of YouTube coverage, then yeah, I think it's a good idea. So it wasn't the most confident of finishes. Ended up with a 4-yarder after Rover, and he's going to finish.
Yeah.
But Harry looked probably a little bit less relaxed in the game compared to some of the other top seeds we've been looking at. I mentioned the draw earlier, and I was saying the Fulford-Bamford half is a little bit more difficult. I mentioned Rothman and Morgan, who I think are both playing well at the moment.
Yes.
I said Fields should be a straightforward win, and he's won the first 26 TP.
Yeah.
But after that, Roberts got James Death in the quarter-final.
Right.
And I think that is a tough quarter-final.
Yeah.
Someone always has to beat James.
Yes.
And you're always hoping someone does it for you.
Well, yeah. Or James beats James.
Indeed, yeah.
No, this peg out's not a total given. I mean, I expect he'll make it, but you've still got to take care, haven't you?
You do.
As we've said numerous times on these, that the key isn't so much in the lining up, although you do want to get that right. It's in hitting yellow straight at the peg.
Absolutely, yeah.
And here he comes. He's hit yellow straight at the peg, or almost straight at the peg. And
So
that's 1-0, and I think that will settle Harry, actually.
Equally, I think Ewan, firstly, will be happy that he's had a break. And equally, I think we need to give him credit for taking some good shot choices during that game.
Yeah.
And these things that may be obvious to someone who's played 35 years need thinking through when you haven't experienced this time and time again.
Yeah.
So he's made some good shot choices. He was clearly getting closer to his roquets. He hit a couple in the end and missed that last one by nothing. I would have loved to have seen him hit that.
Well, that, from the spectator's point of view, that would have been interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah. See if he can play his break round to the peg. You never know what he's going to do. Is he going to peg Harry out? Is he just going to make a leave?
Well, yeah,
most people
indeed,
we can
I was wondering
guess.
about that.
We just don't know.
But he's at the moment he's practicing up at swinging over the boundary line, so that suggests to me he's concerned about his straight shooting at the moment, because that is his strength.
Fabulous, and not just a good shot, but technically good. And one of the things I look at, I'm obviously chairman of Golf Croquet Selectors, but I'm also on the AC selection committee. We obviously look at results, but at the end of the day, technique is so important. If you've got a poor technique, getting to become one of the best players in the world is more difficult.
Sure.
And when you start playing badly, it's going to take you longer to find your game again. So actually working on improving your technique is what a lot of the players do. Fulford and Bamford, a lot of their practice is just striking one ball. It's not playing fancy croquet strokes and working out pull. It's just hitting their ball, getting their swing.
Reg can do that for hours.
Yep.
And I've watched him recently, certainly in Nottingham. He just seems to set up 4-yard roquets over and over again.
Yeah.
So the player's having a break. Well, Ewan's not having a break, but Harry's wandered off.
Maybe
just for a quick comfort break, or refill his water bottle or whatever.
If we can cut to lawn 3, we'll start doing a little bit of commentary on that whilst we're waiting for this to restart. So even if you can't see it, we've got a 2-ball game, so it's really easy
to
commentate on.
Ewan seems to be checking out the hill round Penalt.
He is.
Now, what's this method called if you were doing it for putting? I can't remember.
I don't know, but
aim point.
Justin Rose would do it. We're going back to lawn 3. We've got a 2-ball game. Aston Wade on hoop 1 and Reg Bamford on 3 back. And Aston, with his contact, hasn't done very well at all. So he's croqueted yellow north of hoop 6, and his blue, what would you say? It's got a 5-yard 20-degree hoop 1.
Is that the end of his turn?
I believe that's the end of his turn.
Right. Yeah.
He may have one more shot left.
Well, neither player on the lawn at the moment.
Indicating it's more likely to be Reg's turn. James Death wandering back. That indicates a match win.
Yeah, match win for James. First to finish, I imagine.
And no great surprise about that.
No great surprise there.
So still no action on lawn 3.
Yeah, it's unclear why there's nothing going on. Here comes
so it's Aston walking out.
Right.
So does that indicate he's got one more shot left?
Well,
because yellow couldn't finish there after Reg has played, could it? So he must have approached hoop 1 and have one more shot left.
Well, what's going on? Is yellow... What?
So yellow's in front of Penalt.
But is yellow's hoop?
Yeah.
Or,
so this is what I used to do, Keith. I used to put my ball in the opponent's corner. So Aston's just played to corner 4.
Hang on. Yellow's... Yeah, I'm still slightly confused. We think yellow's still for 3 back, do we?
I thought it was. If it's in front of Penalt, then I guess Reg might have just made 2 hoops. But if he'd done that, Aston would have a lift. So I think it's still for 3 back. And Aston's done what I normally do, go to my opponent's corner and say, if you miss me from a long way away, I can approach hoop 1. If you come closer to me, then there's going to become a certain point at which time I'm going to shoot at you.
Well, we can see Reg is on the lawn.
And I don't think Reg needs to shoot at this. I think Reg could go 3 yards closer and Aston would still stay there.
Right.
So I think this is unnecessarily long. We've got it on camera now. Reg shoots. And he's missed on the left.
Well, we'll find out whether Aston can approach hoop 1. And if he can, he'd have a good chance of a 2-ball break, wouldn't he? Where are you going to put Reg's ball in your croquet shot?
It depends on how I'm playing a tournament to tournament. So if I'm running the hoops hard, I'm going to put it north of hoop 2. And if I've got a gentle hoop stroke, I'm going to put it just north of the peg. Because I don't think, if I give myself a 3-yard hoop, I don't think running it short of that is particularly easy. So interestingly, Blake just walked by.
Yeah, but I think he's going back to the cricket pitch.
Ready for the 3rd game, we think.
Oh, maybe. Let's see. Well, James is back here, so maybe my...
So it's a bad shot out of corner 4. He did send yellow to this north of hoop 2 position I mentioned, but he's finished 3 yards in front of 2 back instead of 3 yards in front of hoop 1.
I've had one more update from James Death. Yeah, he won 2-0, 13 TP and 26 TP. Robert Fulford's 1-all, 26 TP, 6th turn, both games. And then the other 2 are just starting game 2.
And I think, going back to what we mentioned earlier, this is one of the reasons we would like to see best of 5 in round 1. It's actually quite easy playing conditions.
Yeah.
And we're moving now back to lawn 4 for the start of game 2. Harry played quite a long, narrow super shot, and Ewan has played a ball that's gone a yard past the peg and to the east, so there may be a double from corner 1, but there's no double from anywhere else on the lawn.
No.
Harry's just wandered over to corner 1, clearly doesn't think there's a double, and I think he'll dribble at the black ball. Is he going to be a gentle shot at black?
Right.
And I don't like this opening against Ewan. I don't like putting all the balls in the middle of the lawn. I want to go to these scary boundaries and corners that Ewan gets frightened about.
Yeah.
I want to pretend the bogeyman's in play. There's nothing wrong with playing blue just to the east of yellow and letting Ewan shoot, but as an opening goes, you play this type of opening either when you're playing an elite level player or when you're the weaker player.
Right.
Harry is certainly not the weaker player in this match. Is he saying, I'm using this for practice?
I think he might be. Yeah.
So I think it's a gentle go.
You think it's a gentle go? That's interesting. It is, you're right.
Missed on the right by a long way. That's a ball and a half,
Right,
maybe.
so that's a double target. And there's a double target from B bulk, I think. It's blue's closer to B bulk and black is to A bulk, you think?
It's marginal. I'm definitely going to have a look at it.
Yeah.
And yeah, Ewan's definitely keen on this. Yeah, he can move it here.
I think for Ewan fans, he needs to hit this.
Yeah. And I think he will.
Okay.
middle.
Yeah.
Sort
Oh,
of.
that takes me back to the counties
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah, just tap that Croquet here,
Yeah.
and oh, it's off the bell lawn. Yeah. So he does have to play quite a big croquet stroke now, and I'm not sure if Hoop 1's in the way of sending out the Hoop 2 Parnia.
Don't think that's going to phase him. I think he's coming to yellow.
I think he'll also go to yellow.
And whether he gets beyond yellow or stays reasonably close to it, what he doesn't want to do is end up sort of closer to black than yellow, and then when he hits yellow it's going miles away.
Oh, he's sending out a pivot again, Keith, because his hoop's in the way.
Well,
He likes pivots.
surprised about that, but here we go.
So it's in the vicinity of Hoop 2, that blue, and he'll be able to play a little take-off now. He's actually looking at a proper croquet stroke.
Interesting.
Wow, this is
Well,
what I would play.
I think blue could have gone. Blue could have gone to the west of Hoop 1,
It could.
and it would be even if it was a little bit west of 2. But anyway, we are where we are,
That's
and this is
not
nowhere
good.
near Hoop
That's
1.
off the boundary.
And he hasn't this time got reception balls down at Hoop 2.
No. This is. I often see people overhit this shot on lawn 1 here.
Lawn 4, but
Sorry,
yes.
Lawn 4, yeah.
It
Hoop
feels
1,
like lawn
4.
1 though, doesn't it?
It does. It's your star lawn, you're thinking it's lawn 1, and now instead of playing the croquet stroke, he has just taken off and played it beautifully.
Yeah.
That is a 10.
That's pretty good.
Lovely, lovely shot.
Yeah.
And is he going to run it up the lawn to yellow,
Well,
or is he going to hit black afterwards? He's going to hit black
He's now
afterwards.
going to hit black. Yeah. Yeah. Just tap that one.
And I would have liked to see, in future, him develop a shot that hits those 6-yarders not as hard.
Mhm.
If we had a replay, you'd see that actually a lot of right wrist came through at the end there,
Okay.
and he's got such natural physique and power that he can actually just let his shoulders do the work on those, and the technique's so good in
Yeah.
terms of a straight swing.
Well, that's what he does when he gets a bit thrashy. Doesn't he? The wrists come in,
Yeah.
and also his base moves.
Yeah.
He physically, the whole of his body moves into it as well, which I don't think helps his consistency.
And again,
Oh,
it's
this
one of those
thing-
things
this
he's
is-
getting better at.
Oh, we're going to have yellow here, and I think it'll take off to blue. And he's actually played that standard. You see that?
Yes, so one of the things he's changed to for golf croquet
Mm.
is playing his positional shots with a standard grip.
Interesting. Why has he done that?
And one of the things I tell people is Solomon's great for hitting the ball straight,
Mm.
but you don't get as much touch. Solomon players tend to be less good at touch shots. So standard just gives him a little bit more palm contact.
Okay. Again, we've got to be careful about where this blue goes. Okay, he's done one of those little lofty ones. He's alright, this can come through to the boundary, which it has. Straight into our commentary position.
Let him pick that up himself. But yeah, for higher handicap players,
Now, that's Matthew Essex walking down the hill.
that is Matthew Essex walking down the hill. So what does that mean?
Yeah, well, where was he playing today?
I thought he was on the cricket pitch.
Really?
No, he wasn't, was
No,
he?
he wasn't. And he's not on the front lawn, so
So he's on the left-hand side. So he was at Roehampton or Surbiton,
yeah,
and let's try and work it out. He's the 5 seed, isn't he?
he's 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Is Mark Avery 4?
4, I think.
Right, so he's 5, yeah.
So he's in the second quarter, isn't he?
Yeah.
And that's at Roehampton. So he's won 2-0 at Roehampton and got back.
Well, that's what we're predicting.
So probably one even faster than James in that case.
Potentially.
Another lovely quick player is Matthew.
Can you remember who he was playing?
No, I can't.
Let's see if we've got something to look at on Croquet scores.
Nice rush to hoop 3. That'll be a settler, just hitting one of those half ball on the right side. Jack's asking about any thoughts on how Pete played his second 3-ball game yesterday, and obviously very poorly would be a immediate statement. He tried to pick up that 3-ball break when Zach went peg high on the west boundary and played a lovely takeoff, and all he had to do was play a very basic approach to hoop 2, sending a ball to hoop 3 and run hoop 2, and he didn't. So he tried to play it the right way, and then subsequently the next turn when he didn't approach 3 and tried to get the wire from the peg, that wasn't really very good. But initially he tried to play it the right way.
Yeah, so Matthew has won. He's beaten Robert Wilkinson.
Okay, and big shout out to Robert. Again, one of the qualifiers.
That's right.
And I think not only that, he started the qualifier very badly and got to like 1 out of 4 or 0 out of 3 and came through strongly.
All the rest of his games.
Yeah.
Mark Avery's beaten Sam Murray.
These are fast matches, aren't they? So, would have been nice to have had a best of 5 round here.
Well, I'm going to stick to my theory that it was the potential of Surbiton matches going on a bit longer that's prevented that.
Okay, Surbiton's not scary. It's got a few bobbly patches which can cause difficulty with breaks. So do we have any more game scores to update people on?
Well, we've got some first games have been played. Robert Fletcher's won up against Mark Ormerod.
Mark got some play in that by the look of it.
Yeah, 13 points. Mark Van Loon's won up against Gavin Carter, plus 17 TP. Zach Watson's taken the game off Debbie Lyons, plus 17.
These are the Surbiton matches we're talking about now.
Right. And Jose Riva, plus 5 against Ed Duckworth, who survived a playoff and a half yesterday.
Thriller, absolute thriller, plus 1 against Kevin Beard.
And then, well, I don't think if James was correct earlier, we've only got Blake Fields won up against Robert Fulford.
Okay.
We don't know, we haven't got a second game score in on that one.
Okay. So Ewan's break going very nicely, and he can send partner over to 2-back, as we've been recommending. Again, if you can send partner to 2-back, it makes sure you're not making the last hoop of your turn 3-back off the partner ball. Really good hoop 6 partner. It's almost a blade of grass you'd want it on, Keith.
Yeah, I'd be very happy with that.
We're almost saying, is it Ewan we're watching? Last shot was a bit loose.
It definitely is Ewan, and he's now leaving he's going to be moving. How far is he going to be moving red here?
Well,
good 12 yards.
Yeah.
And he has
overhit the black, but red's good.
Yeah, red's good.
So you really want to rush out a hoop 6 to this black ball and tidy it up. And he is literally getting better game by game. Whoops, that's almost gone down the hill. Oh, he's stuck in it.
No. Now, I've seen... Yeah, we have seen people...
be hampered.
Well, we see people be hampered. We've seen people come through thinking they're coming through 4 or 5 yards and then running by a couple of feet, getting plenty of wire.
And it's really been hoop 1 and hoop 6 on this lawn that have been a little bit firmer.
Yeah, well, hoop 1 has been reset at least twice.
Has it?
Yeah, it was reset during the Kevin Beard Robin Brown game, and then Ian Vincent had to have it reset yesterday morning before play. Ian Vincent's the tournament referee. Yeah, and Ewan won't be at all happy about that. Is there any good news?
Not really.
Not a huge amount.
No. I suppose you can say he didn't put out a very good one-back Carnier.
Yeah.
But
We're
Harry's
clutching
got
at straws.
Yeah, Harry's got room to get another one up there now.
No, I'm getting some sort of unofficial reporting. So this isn't from Croquet Scores, but
look how far he's put this, Keith.
Yeah, well yeah. He's got a rush on yellow though.
Wow.
Yeah.
Again, it's another one that might have been off yesterday.
Yeah.
Just that tiny bit slower. Aston not really made very much progress against Reg. He's on hoop 3. I think Reg is on penultimate.
So I've heard from Gabrielle Higgins that she's 1 up against Marcus Evans.
Oh, very good.
Plus 13 TP.
Yeah.
And I've heard that David Morm is 1 down, but I don't have any more details about that one.
A nice approach from Harry, and he'll be able to get a rush on yellow up to these 2 bad balls at hoop 2. Has he overhit it? No, it's just okay. I think if you rush to corner 2, you can send yellow to hoop 3, going past the black, and rush black back to red. In fact, I might have been tempted to rush it a little bit further east than that, almost sort of where red is, and play the croquet straight from there. I don't need this much room.
And you would hope, as he's coming across the hill, that he's got much less chance of being caught by this north boundary hill.
Yeah. From a weather point of view, virtually no wind today, Keith.
Yeah, which is nice. Some people are more affected by the wind than others.
Yeah, yeah, pretty still today.
Well, in contrast to Saturday.
Yeah. Temperature's mild, probably about 19, 20. And it's a nice day to play croquet.
It's always a nice day to play croquet, Chris.
Very good.
So, while we're just waiting for Harry, have you any idea what Aston and Reg have got up to?
Yes, Aston's just run hoop 3, I believe. Reg is behind hoop 2 on the north boundary, and I'm assuming Aston is going to take position at hoop 4.
Right.
And cross his fingers that Reg doesn't take position at penult, which is unlikely. So I'm sure Aston's thinking about, should I be going to corner 3 here, and threatening the penult area, or even level with penult. I always prefer corners.
Yeah. Wise.
Now I think there's no need for Harry to do this.
Well, as in, he could have sent yellow to...
Well, he could have sent yellow to 3 and not have to hold for his rush to 2 with the same shot he's sending out the pioneer with.
Yeah.
So he could have got a rush to hoop 2 moving his ball a foot rather than 2.5 yards. But he's done it nicely,
Yeah.
and he should be away now. Aston has taken position at hoop 4.
And Reg has potentially taken position at Penalt.
I think he hasn't.
Well,
No, that is more than 45 degrees.
do you think so?
I'm going to run hoop 4 and take position at hoop 5, and if he runs hoop Penalt down to Rover, I'll shake his hands and say good shot. But in terms of your chance of winning the game, running hoop 4 and taking position at hoop 5 is your best chance.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, I agree with that.
It's no gimme this hoop 4 though, is it? A good shot.
Golf croquet player.
So a good positional shot at hoop 5, 1 yard straight in front.
So you wouldn't run 5 down to 6 then?
From here, well, obviously golf cricket, no. I think it's a very interesting line of play if Reg is in front of Penalt. For a golf croquet player, you've got a good chance of bouncing off to a boundary, which is a good place to finish, and they are runnable. You know, we used to say 1 in 3. Run hoop 4, 1 in 3 to run hoop 5 if you're playing well. But you do need to run it past hoop 6 to get a shot at yellow, and that's more difficult.
Anyways,
he's taking not 1 yard position, this is deep position at hoop 5, isn't it? This is saying, I'm definitely getting in front of it.
I think he's gone too far.
Looks too far to me.
Oh, Reg tied his up position wide from blue. Meanwhile,
Might be okay, Keith.
Well,
No, it's okay.
okay.
No, I think it's fine.
Meanwhile, Harry's picked up his break.
Do you think he's got enough room to play this shot?
Well,
It's quite a wide angle
yeah, it is.
from
It
quite
is.
close by.
Yeah. Kind of got used to watching Robert Fletcher.
Yeah.
And it'd almost be a drive for him
Yeah.
with his new mallet.
Yeah.
He's done fine. I like that. It's
Well.
pretty good.
Mm.
He's had a bit of a...
I'd be disappointed with that.
Would he?
He hasn't got rushed to hoop 3.
Well,
That's the only important thing in that shot. So Reggie's eyeing up a short angled penultimate,
with Aston in front of 5.
and I don't think he's going to take it. I think he's going to run away.
Now that's... now he's given himself a longer hoop than he would have wanted to do, given that he's just playing a break. But he's coped.
This isn't instilling a lot of confidence in me as a performance for a future quarter-finalist potentially, top seed.
No, I agree. And I saw one of his games the other day, and I'd only really half been watching it, but he came over to me as though he thought I probably had been watching it closely, and he seemed a bit embarrassed about how he'd played.
So Reg's still thinking about this hoop shot.
So, if Reg decides to retreat,
Yeah.
and Aston runs 5, but say he can't then run 6,
Yeah.
will you just take position at 6?
No, I'm going to shoot at where Reg is going to go.
Right.
Which is why
Well, in that case, right, okay. I suppose you're going to say if Reg went to corner 1, or maybe he can't get there, but corner 4, say
I'll take position.
you run the hoop and take position.
Yeah. So if he's south of the lawn, I'll take position.
But you're not going to. You could hit him first.
No. I like this position. If he goes to corner 4, I'm going to run 5, take position at 6. Reg isn't going to go anywhere near me until I'm on 2 back.
Right.
and I'm not giving a lift away when I want to run one back. So I've got lots of chance to catch up without playing a 2-wall break and without him taking any shots.
But if he goes to corner 3...
If he goes to corner 3, I'm going to run the hoop hard and hit him.
Right.
Which is why I like considering corner 2. Because unless the opponent runs 5 in front of 6 and then runs 6, corner 2 is better than corner 3.
Yeah. And that's because you've got an approach you can play from corner 3 that gives you a much better chance of having a 2-ball break.
Yeah, you've got to play a pass roll from corner 2.
Yeah.
And with Humpties, it's not that difficult, but with these, it's more difficult. So Reg has eventually decided he's going to poke away to corner 3, calling a ref.
Does he need to be that accurate about whether he can get to the corner or just outside? Really?
No. In fact, you could argue that one of the spots he could take might be 1 yard south of the corner, where if Aston hits him, hoop 3 might be in the way of the roll to hoop 6.
Good shout. Yes.
So I would be going and looking for that spot.
Right.
The downside of taking that spot is it does give Aston a wide area at hoop 6.
Yeah,
so
another good point. First things first, though, for Aston, he needs to get this hoop shot right, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Running it by a foot's no good. Well,
Jawsing it's quite good. If it's in the middle of the hoop,
yeah.
that works well. Reg may shoot at it, but things can go wrong when you shoot at blue there. Imagine your worst case scenario, you hit just off centre of the wire, you sort of bounce back, spin 3 yards off the end of A bolt.
Yeah, giving a lift.
And why do you say giving a lift, Keith?
Well, because if blue's moved,
yeah,
without actually being roquet,
yeah,
that does mean that Reg is responsible for his position.
So for
and then
all the players and referees out there, Rod Ashwell, who's going out, he's looking for 2 things. He's looking, does yellow hit the blue?
Yeah.
But he's also looking at, if Reg hits the hoop, has blue moved or shaken? In which case blue would get a lift. That's the sort of shot we were talking about. It's gone about 5 yards off A bulk. Has it moved?
Aston will be asking the question, surely. Surely he's asking the question.
He's also got blue at yellow from where it lies through the hoop.
Oh, that would be quite handy.
But simply getting a lift and hitting yellow.
Is he getting a lift?
Has he asked?
Unclear.
I'm not sure we're going to find out.
I couldn't tell from the body language.
But yeah, for all those people watching, always beware that in that instance you may give a lift away, even if you don't roquet the blue.
Just to be clear, you have to have hit the hoop.
Yes.
I once tried to claim that my opponent was responsible for the position of the ball when he'd gone near the hoop and the ground had...
no, that's not good enough.
I know, but
this is
in my youth I thought I'd try it on.
Don't like this. That's the worst of all these options, I think.
Well, if he runs 6 and gets position at 1 back...
Do you think he should... Don't you just think he should take position and say, look, if you want to shoot at me, Reg...
No, of course he's
I've got to rush to 1 back.
Yeah, true.
I know it's Reg's hoop. I don't think this is necessary.
I think he's taking it on.
I think if you sit in front of hoop 6, you can legitimately threaten Reg by saying, if you miss, I'm going to finish. He's going to run to northbound, he's going to have a rush to 1 back.
Yeah, understand that.
So he'll take position in front of one back now.
I still thought one, because a good chunk of the time Reg will hit and finish.
Oh, see, I'm not even 100% sure Reg is shooting.
Okay.
So,
well,
obviously,
this is part of my question from earlier. At what point, if you're Reg, do you either do you come anywhere near penalt?
and this is the whole point about why I hate this position in the first place.
Yeah. That looks like a good position.
Looks a bit long.
Well, it's okay, but it's in front.
It's in front.
Yeah.
It's in front. So here, A, Reg shouldn't be shooting at blue, and B, shouldn't be taking position at penalt.
No.
So he has to run away.
Yeah.
After Aston runs one back, which he needn't do from where he is, if Reg goes to corner three,
creep up.
he can gradually get close to the hoop.
Yeah.
Which is why I think Reg shouldn't go to corner three.
Oh, well,
I want him 5 yards out of corner three and tempting Aston to shoot at
and
him.
that's closer on the north boundary.
Yeah.
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 Well, that's exactly what he's done.
Is it?
Well, he's gonna
Bit tight. Yeah, that's okay.
It's
So I think Aston will take the hoop on.
Take the hoop on or creep a bit closer.
I think he'll take it on.
Or is Reg too close?
If he
If he takes this on and gets position at 2 back.
yeah, Reg just has to take position at penalt.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a lift, remember, because he's pegged out Aston. But he has forced Aston to run the hoop and take position at his next hoop. Is this the draws? It's an unusual lineup. This is up. No, he's going hard.
Well, he's got good weight on that.
That is good weight.
This is he can have a go at 2 back here.
And you do. Because if you take 2 back,
and
run it,
position at 3 back,
then you're 50-50.
Then Reg is can't go to penalt, can
No.
he? And
so
I think he knows this.
Yeah.
Aston's pretty astute, even though he's not hugely experienced at AC yet. I wonder how many 2-ball games he's played.
He's got position, I think.
Has he?
Second prize.
Has he? Are you sure?
No?
No.
Oh, I'm at a really bad angle then. No, you can see from the camera angle, that's a much better angle. That's just spun forward to the wrong side of the hoop, and now Reg will not just try and take position at penalt, he'll play it as a golf croquet shot, and he'll try and get wide position. And he'll be very good at that shot. So where's it gone? It's gone too far. Oh, it's hopeless. So Aston should shoot at that.
You think?
Yes, definitely. If you just take position and Reg takes position,
you can't take position at 3 back.
correct. So this is your shot. You take it now, and if you hit it, you roll up to 2 back and you try and finish.
Right, that's a big shot.
It is. But the lawns are a nice pace for playing big croquet strokes.
We should keep viewers informed about Harry's progress. He's progressed all the way round to 3 back now, and he will be making having a much better fist at doing a diagonal spread, I'm going to suggest, than he did in the first game.
Ball's in much better position. But
I think we're going to keep on this Aston Reg 2-ball game finish.
Yeah, I think
this is first one of these we've seen. It may not be the last.
No. Both Fletcher and Bamford seem to be going for this. I can't say again how much I dislike it as a tactic.
So have you talked to Robert Fulford about this?
Well, I've spoken to Robert many times over the decades about this.
Recently, though.
I've told him at the Opens, Robbie Fletcher's doing this. This is a really good chance for, you to make sure your 2-ball game's in good nick and make sure you can take advantage of it. Here we go. Aston shoots. Misses.
No, he hasn't. Okay.
And Reg needs to turn around and hit that.
Yeah, he can't turn that down, can he?
So
he certainly can't take position at penalt and
No.
potentially give Aston a rush to 2 back.
So I expect Reg to finish this turn.
Yeah, sure.
Again, Harry moving red horizontally, sort of across the wide line.
I'm going to have a look at this.
Okay. We'll just keep with Reg. Got about an 11-yarder. Yellow at blue, and if he hits it, should have a straightforward approach from the north boundary to penultimate. He's missed it. And this is what he was doing at the Opens and the Golf Croquet. He was just missing shots that you'd anticipate he would hit regularly. And because of the venues, I haven't seen much of him play this tournament. His scores look fine, but Reg would normally just hit that. So now Aston has got this fantastic chance. As a croquet stroke player, this is what I wanted. I wanted croquet, and I'm focusing almost as much on the front ball here, Keith, as the back ball.
Right.
If the front ball finishes 2 yards off the south boundary and a bit on the eastern side of the line of 1 and 2, and I've got a 4-yard hoop, that's good enough for me.
Right. Meanwhile, Harry has made another imperfect diagonal spread. I think we call this a B spread.
B spread.
Yeah.
So yellow.
So yellow can't hit all of red.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's got as much of red as you said it had last time.
Okay.
But it can still hit right of centre on red as he looks at it.
Presumably red can just hit yellow.
Oh yes, red's totally open on yellow. So here comes Aston. He's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. That's interesting.
Both short. Yeah, sort of 15% more on both. It would have been a good shot. Yellow's finished between or on the line of 1 and 4.
Yeah.
Blue has got a hoop shot, and if you're lucky and play a nice smooth stroke, you'll get a little bit of wire and run it by 3 inches.
Yeah, how's your Donald?
That certainly wasn't a nice smooth stroke.
No.
Now Reg will roquet that.
Yeah. He'll roquet it and what? Some sort of thick takeoff? Or I don't know. I mean,
He wants to cut it a bit north, doesn't he? And then he can play the thick takeoff.
Okay. Well, he's got to have a clear side. He'll be trying to get position at Penol in one stroke, won't he? And run it down to blue.
Ah, this is a finishing turn.
Yeah.
He expects to finish from here.
Still quite difficult. Now
That's the wrong side. So now the thick takeoff is putting it quite close to the south boundary.
yeah, it's almost rushed to corner 1, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's just north of corner 1, I think.
So there's not really too much he can do with blue. So he's basically just lining up a takeoff here. So with blue there, say he got position at Penal and he ran to the south boundary, is he going to have a go at blue?
No, he isn't.
Is he going to take position at Rover? Ewan's hit his lefty. Well, he didn't take a left, he played it as it lay, using the open shot that Red had.
This is the shot I didn't want him to take last time, when
It
he had
is.
more of the other ball,
Yeah,
because of the next croquet stroke.
yeah.
He needs a thick takeoff.
Red's for 6.
So he still needs the thick takeoff.
Yeah,
Try and move yellow off the boundary.
yeah.
Um,
So Reg has achieved position. I believe he's going for this.
yeah,
hit.
dead straight.
And he's failed it.
And again, it's just I think he's completely out of touch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Well, we
so
saw him
many
at
of these
Nottingham
shots.
and,
Yeah.
and we've
And
seen
I saw him at
I haven't
Southwick.
seen much of him play here. But
No, I haven't. No, I thought maybe he'd picked it up based on the scores, but when his game's stretched out of these into these non-standard positions, he looks vulnerable.
Well, who is in good form? Because I've seen Robbie Fletcher play a bit, and
Yep.
he's made several errors.
Correct. He's been out of form. I have liked what I've seen of Rob.
Yeah, well, we saw a game that we commentated, didn't we, on a game of Rob's,
Yeah.
where, okay, he made errors.
Yep.
He didn't get a crosswire
Yep.
hoop one that he wanted.
Yep.
But following that, he played kept that turn going to get a really good diagonal spread.
And I watched him do a quad at Ealing.
Okay.
And the lawns weren't perfect. Had a little bit of bobble on them. And he played 3 or 4 shots that finished in really weak positions and forced him to do lots of clever little things.
Okay.
And it was just a joy to watch.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Well, I think it must have been Saturday we watched Rob playing on this lawn.
yeah,
And it was just a different game,
yeah.
another
So,
level.
Ewan's got black in the way of his rush to hoop 6 a bit. Aston has taken long position at 2 back, and I'd hate it.
Well, yeah, but it is position. And what's Reg doing? He's just tidying this up.
Yeah.
So, okay. So Aston needs to run this.
Well, I'm
And then
shooting at
what?
yellow if I'm open.
Oh,
I'm
you're shooting
not
at yellow,
not
okay.
taking the.
Okay. Come on. What's
Yeah, we're going to stay with this pegged out ending
this
because it is the interesting.
it is. It's the first one of these we've really followed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just to keep Burridge fans up to date that Ewan has run hoop 6.
To the north boundary and has a 9-yard
He's
return.
got-
8.
Well,
8.
yeah, okay. It is 8.
So if I'm open on yellow, I'm taking it instead of running my hoop.
He's tended to. He goes at these quite hard.
Yeah. Hit the outside of the wire, bounce to the side, which is much better than hitting the other wire. So Reg will run penult now, and the big question is he going to shoot at what will be probably about a 9-yarder at blue, which is at blue's hoop.
Yeah.
Gives
well,
an easy finish away, easy 2-ball break, approaching your hoop from the near boundary.
Yeah.
Should be able to get a rush to 3 back. If you can get a rush from 3 back to 4 back, that should be good enough. Can he get a little bit of wire? Can he give himself a 7-yarder instead of a 9-yarder?
Yeah, I don't think he'll be trying to do that, though, will he? What's the gap on these hoops, Chris?
Well, on day 1 I measured them on lawns 2, 3 and 4. No, I didn't. I measured them on lawns 1, 2 and 3. There we go, got it wrong again. And on all 3 of those lawns they were set much tighter than the regulations. So half of the hoops were set to about 64th.
Right.
So really quite narrow. And it's what they should be set to on easy conditions like this.
Yeah, well, just to put that into perspective, when I started playing, well, that made it sound like it was ancient history.
Stone gates, weren't
Yeah.
they? Stone arches? No?
Yeah. Yeah. Fred Flintstone was a mean shot, I can
Yeah,
tell you that.
well, I mean,
Um,
which hoop was the most difficult at Stonehenge?
The gap was 1/8 of an inch.
Yeah.
And you would get the top players would deliberately run a hoop off a wire.
Yeah.
To get an angle.
So Reg has run this past Rover and on the wrong side, and he's just going to. I can't believe he's going to take position here. You can't just give a 9-yarder away, can you?
I'm shocked.
I can't believe he's going to take position. If you don't take position, you have to stay away for a long time, don't you?
Well-
You have to give away 2 back and 3 back.
Where's he going? Is he going position or is he going corner 2? No, he has. He's gone position. And he's hit
Really
the hoop.
Cloak
Didn't he hit the
position?
hoop?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. So
Okay.
this is an
I was getting
instance
overexcited then.
where being able to gently roquet a ball at 9 yards is a big advantage.
Well, who does that though? And when you say gently, how gently is gently?
Well, so if you hit it in the middle, you only move it 4 yards.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm not talking like dribbling it and moving it 2 feet.
Yeah.
But if you hit it in the middle, you don't want to move it for more than 4 yards. But I think Aston's going to go full power here, and that will significantly negate his chances of finishing, unless he sinks it.
So this is, in golf croquet terms, what you'd like to see him do is something that's even softer than a mid-pace clearance.
Even softer than mid-pace clearance, exactly. Yeah. And he's just gone his normal, optimal hitting pace, and he's cleared it off the boundary.
Yeah.
So from a golf micro point of view, pretty good. But from an AC point of view, that's a long way away from 2-back now. Rolling it across the line to get in front. He needs to make sure that the front ball finishes short of the line of 1 and 2.
Probably don't think he's got hoop 5 in the way, has he?
Don't think so. No, I think it's a good position to roll.
Or hoop 4.
No, it's a.
He's coming in the corridor, and is he? Yep, he's lining up the roll.
I just always fancied finishing on these front lawns.
Yeah.
With croquet. And part of the reason is you could just stroke your hoop shot at the hoop and it would normally go through. So he's missed hoop 5, he's in front of the hoop, and yellow is really good. That's a really good shot.
It's a long hoop.
So I'm okay with blue. That's fine. Yellow's good. If he runs the hoop, he should get a rush to 3-back.
Yeah, this is. I mean, again, it's a GC shot, isn't it?
It's a little bit more angled than I thought it was, but it's still only 15 degrees.
But if you had this in a GC match,
yeah,
you'd be what, expecting to run it?
Well, expecting to be at least 50%.
Oh, he has run it, I think. Has he?
So that has been clubbed into the far wire, and somehow it's gone through the hoop.
Yeah.
And had it been his previous yellow, it would have a dolly rush to 3-back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as it is,
that's a good point. Yeah.
That's just bounced back and spun through. Can he hit this?
No. I'm going to say no.
This is 100% no, is it?
I'm saying 100% no.
Okay, so you don't need to take position at 3-back here. That's the first thing to say. You could play 3 yards off the boundary, level with hoop 5. Off the east boundary, level with hoop 5.
East boundary's on over there. Yeah, okay.
If you can get there. He might only be able to play level with hoop 4,
yeah.
3 yards off the boundary, but you don't need to go in front of 3-back and give Reg just really short shot. You can go past it, guarding the shot,
yeah,
and add some yardage onto yellow's shot. And what's yellow going to do? Well, yellow's probably going to take position again, given the fact he did last time, and then you can shoot again.
Yeah.
And I think I prefer me shooting than Reg shooting. So, got to overhit this rather than underhit it.
Meanwhile, just keep you updated on what's actually happening on lawn 4, even though we're not actually showing you the live footage. Ewan has gone from 6 to 4-back.
He's making a B spread.
But it might be. It's kind of similar to the one he made in the previous game, and Harry just flicked his roquet from.
Yeah, so Harry can't hit all of it with his hoop 1 ball, but he can hit it in the middle.
Yeah, and that's gone.
So his last croquet stroke sent partner off the lawn.
Not a disaster, particularly. I mean,
no,
not great, but he actually did pretty well getting the hoops.
Yeah,
played some nice shots there.
So Aston's gone deep.
What's Aston done? And Reg has managed to get wide from it.
Reg, I think, has failed to get wide on a really big wide area.
Yeah.
And he's left Aston this 10-yarder. So I expect him to hit this again.
Yeah, and then, well, we'll see where it goes. We'll see if he hits it first. But you'd be trying to approach 3-back, sending yellow somewhere near 4-back, wouldn't you?
Particularly having rushed it there. That's
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely, nice half
That's a
roll.
lovely, yeah, beautiful croquet stroke coming up.
Now, when Aston was approaching hoop 1 before, he sent the forward ball north of hoop 2. Is he once again going to try and send yellow north of 4-back? Or perhaps this is a little bit wider an angle of shot and he might play it to 4-back? He's certainly not rolling it to peg high, is he?
No, he's going to give himself plenty of room. If he gets position, he won't be getting a close position. So he'll be hitting his hoop shot hard.
And let's just stop at this point.
Go on.
And go, do you really want to be in this position in a 2-ball game when you're Reg?
Yeah.
And
Well,
he's
we're
overhit
second guessing Reg's tactics now, aren't we?
So he did send
And
it
this
north of
is-
4-back,
and he's going to take position.
but he has to take position so yellow can hit him and isn't wired.
Yes, he does.
And that isn't easy.
Well, yellow could be. Can we see yellow?
So he's
Where
taking
is
long,
yellow?
deep position. Yellow's towards corner 3.
Yeah.
So he has to go to the eastern side.
Is it north of 4-back?
Yes.
Or is it
It's north of 4-back.
and east?
North and east of 4-back.
Okay. Meanwhile, the game on lawn 4 is actually taking their lunch break, and it's 9-all. 9 hoops from Harry's blue ball, and Ewan's responded by getting to 4-back with his red ball.
So again, you don't have... The number one thing is don't get wired.
Well, I think he's achieved that, hasn't he?
I think it looks good to me. I think he's done well. Reg won't shoot at this. But will he risk taking position at Rover? Surely not.
That's far too close, isn't it?
Yeah. I would have thought 8 yards northwest of the peg.
Hang on, 8 yards northwest of the peg.
Or your other option, just float it down to hoop 1. A little bit west of hoop 1.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you don't want to be miles from Rover, do you? Because as soon as Aston's gone away from 3-back, you want to be able to take position, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Without any questions.
It's sort of done what I said by going down to hoop 1. He's given himself a better angle to approach, but he's gone further away as the counter to that.
But he's coming up to Rover on quite a nice line.
He is.
Whereas if you go to the side, you've got to come across the line, haven't you?
I think I'm taking position here. I don't want to run this. I'll let Reg have his shot.
I think Aston's running it.
I don't
Well,
think
he's having
I
a
need
go.
to.
Put it that way.
It's
You don't
not
think-
not easy. This. Oh, he's done it very well.
Yeah, and he's
That's
gone
north
that-
boundary.
Yeah.
Would have been a good one to get 3-back and 4-back in the same shot, wouldn't it? Those 2-point GC shots. That would have been a really good one.
Well, that's how Matthew Hassett won the World Championship last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or was it how he won, or the semi-final? Semi-final win. Yeah.
So needs to take good position at 4-back. Reg will take position at Rover. Aston will run 4-back and take position at Penult. Reg will run Rover.
And
Then we've got the interesting bit, haven't we?
yeah.
He could jump back over Rover and hit the peg, and that would be the crowd-pleasing finish.
And he's got the technical capabilities to do that.
He does. He might get some wire when he runs Rover and not even have to jump.
True.
Or he might decide, no, I'm just going to play towards the side boundary.
And do you go all the way to the side, or do you teasingly come in at 2 or 3
I
yards?
teasingly come in 2 yards.
Right. but we're not there yet, are we? So that's Aston's continuation shot for running 3 back, and we're going to have to assume that he's got position.
Yep.
And what's Reg doing?
Take position at rover.
Here he comes. This is sort of bread and butter for Reg, isn't it?
Yeah, looks good shot to me.
Yeah, he's really good at touch like that.
That's a nice shot. Now, 2 good shots from Aston, and we're in fun zone.
Yeah. Is Reg's rover a bit angled?
Fractionally, but I think it's short and easy.
Well, that's the first good shot.
And now 2 foot straight or 3 foot straight? I think 3 foot straight.
Well, he's not been going for close,
No,
has he?
no.
So I'm going to say he's going to go 5 to 6 feet
That long.
and have something that he will regard as fairly easily runnable.
One of the things about going deep is nothing dreadful can happen. You can't finish on the wire of penult
No.
and have a losing shot.
And also, I mean, would Reg, if Reg had a clear sight of the peg after running rover, but he's had to, maybe he's gone 5 or 6 yards through rover, would he think, well, if I miss this peg shot, Aston's going to turn around and pick me up?
Yeah, I would certainly, if I'm 2 yards in front of that, I am turning around and picking it off.
This shot's taking a long time. What's he doing? We can see him in shot here, and he's thinking.
This is just a standard croquet position, isn't it? We know you take position at penult.
Yeah. It's just taking a long time, I thought.
Yeah, here goes. It's a good shot.
Yeah.
And I hate this position. If I'm the
And when you say
player,
you hate it as yellow.
I hate it as yellow.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in this position having had all control of the balls and played what everyone thinks is a really good turn with a TPO and 2 peels on partner, and everyone else is going, oh well, that's just fantastic, he's won, well, isn't it good? And no, he hasn't won, and this is why he hasn't won. And yes, he may well win the game, but I don't want to be in this position.
Well, first and foremost, he has to run rover. You don't want to bounce off this, do you?
Yeah, Reg will
dead.
run rover from here. This is,
And he has, and he's gone about 5 yards, maybe 6.
now what's he got? Turns round, has a look,
We can't
scratches the head.
tell, and he's spotting the possibilities, one of which is missing and Aston turning around and picking him up.
Yep. I think we'll see him play towards the boundary. Whether it's off or not, I don't know. I like playing off the boundary level with a rover here.
Oh, okay.
So
what are you guarding position at rover as well as possibly going to have a go at the peg?
well, it's 2 things. Aston is either going to run the hoop and shoot at you,
Yeah.
or he's going to run the hoop and take position at rover. If you're level with a rover, you're going to shoot at the ball,
Yeah.
and you're going to shoot at a slight angle so you're close to the line of the peg for next time.
Oh, okay.
You're probably still going to shoot at the ball, potentially. So he's gone further north than I would.
Yeah, he's gone peg high.
And to me,
And I think he's not putting the ball on, so he must be in the lawn, but he's
Yeah.
not in the lawn by very much.
but I am definitely going 6 yards further south, 7 yards further south than that.
Now, when Aston runs this peg high, he takes position at rover, presumably.
Well,
And when he
I
runs
would
it
have loved
by-
to have seen the decision, because there is something to be said for taking your 7-yard hoop on.
Right.
Again,
Is there anything to be said for taking your 11-yarder on.
Now I am always shooting at yellow.
Right.
Yeah, you can't take position at rover very easily from what I can see. So you are shooting at yellow and you're finishing.
Okay.
This is an 11-yarder for a roll up to rover to win.
This is probably a
13-yarder. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, might even be 14. But
Yeah.
I want to take this every time. I don't want the game in Reggie's hands here. I mean,
even though we think Reggie's single ball stroke form's not top notch.
No, but he's going to get 2 shots.
He is.
From a percentage point of view, him hitting one of his 2 shots, he's going to do that more often than you missing this or not, hitting it and not finishing it. You should finish if you hit this. You really should.
He's looking at guarding the shot at the peg.
Oh, I don't like this. This is just going to get a longer shot. You're in the best position you're going to get here, middle of the lawn. Take your shot at yellow, hit it, and win. Imagine blue goes to this spot on the western side of the lawn 3 yards in.
Yeah.
Well, yellow moves 2 yards closer, and yellow's automatically in a better position than it is now.
Yeah.
He's just hit 2 consecutive, 10 and 11 yarders, or 9 and 11 yarders. Well, go and hit another 14 yarder, 13 yarder. Do what you're good at. Good.
So
he's taking it on.
Our erstwhile cricket pitch correspondent James Death has very kindly gone back there and given us a report. Fulford's a break up in the 3rd.
Yeah.
Fields nibbled the long left.
Ooh.
Nibbling's very good on a long left, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Yeah. Maloof on a delayed TP.
Yep.
Rothman on a TP. Maloof stuck in 6. Was a subsequent comment.
Hasn't been quite as strong as I expected. I thought Carl's results had been very good. I thought he might just be a little bit stronger. Still quite new to the game.
Right. Yeah, he's only got 67 games in the probably 70 now in the system. More than Ewan though.
Yeah,
Ewan's
exactly.
just gone over 50.
Oh, Carl's quite a lot better than Ewan.
Yeah.
Aston just waiting for the double banker on lawn 2 to get out of play, because his ball's quite likely to hit that unmown strip and jump over the wire netting. But this is if he hits a potentially winning shot. If he misses, he will lose. It's game 1 still, remember.
And
Hits
it. Crowd goes wild.
So first thing, full credit to Aston for taking the correct shot.
Yeah.
Hasn't just done it quickly, has decided to have a think about it, but then he has, after all that thought process, taken the correct shot. Now he needs to roll yellow between rover and the south boundary, get in front of the hoop and run it. So just make sure you visualise this shot well before you play it. Actually have blades of grass where that yellow is going to finish, know where the blue is going to finish. That's good. Jenny does this a lot, goes and has a look exactly where she's looking for, and he's not trying to approach to 4 foot straight here. He's trying to approach to 6 foot, that sort of range. So,
here we go. Well, if he gets this right, it's game over. Oh, that's
So
That's short, isn't it?
it's runnable.
It's not straight.
It's not straight. It's runnable. Yellow's fine. Can he play a good single ball stroke? Yeah, he wasn't trying to approach it to the as tight as I would be trying to approach it, but he was still trying to do a bit better than that. Probably move it 1 yard further. So here's the hoop shot. Shot.
Lovely shot.
And if we get a replay of that, just watch Aston's arms on this follow through. Lovely forearm extension,
Yeah.
very nice. And
Bit of wrist flick at the end.
literally, he was hitting it hard, wasn't he? So
Yeah.
you're bound to get a bit of wrist flick, but nice forearm extension. This is the shot I wasn't very good at, Keith.
Yeah, well,
I've done all the difficult bit. I've hit the ball on the boundary. I've rolled up. I've run
everybody's
the hoop.
thinking you've won the game.
Can you imagine what would happen if you rushed it onto the peg?
Well, I know exactly what would happen. That would be called the grievous error.
Oh, he's hit it too. Oh,
He's
he's missed it. Missed it.
For goodness sake. Oh no.
Well, it's good to know it's not just me that misses those.
You're not alone, Chris.
Well, we thought that was all over, didn't we? Well, perhaps I
Well.
didn't, but now
Wow.
we still
Well,
have a
well.
very interesting game.
Well, we do.
Reg has two options. He can shoot hard at the peg, but I think he's going to dribble at it.
If he shoots hard at the peg, did Aston get to the north boundary?
I think he's just inside. I think he might be south of corner 3. But I think percentage-wise,
I think he's on the north
he is on the
boundary.
north boundary.
Maybe
so
a
Reg,
yard or two west of corner 3.
so Reg would give him a 12-yarder.
Yeah, so he won't. I think he'll
So-
go to the peg.
Little dribble. Make sure you get a go at it though. Make sure it goes past
Yeah,
it.
it'll reach, I think. Yeah, that's a nice pace.
No, he's not hitting.
It's not.
Is it a
hitting,
double?
Might
Is it a
be
double?
Well,
Wow.
probably not.
Now this is an even bigger chance to hit yellow onto the peg.
Yeah.
You're shooting at the ball, aren't you?
Yes.
The ball's the bigger target by a long way. And even with the risk of rushing it onto the peg, it's still the right shot.
Yeah.
So, one of these rare games, we get peg v peg, 25-25.
And I think Reg is just grinning it off there. I wonder if he thinks he might have
Got the wire.
got the wire. That would be,
Very lucky.
yeah, very lucky, wouldn't it?
So I think Aston's really good at this type of shot under pressure.
Well,
Um,
the referee's coming out now,
I don't know why.
and he's not going to the peg
So
to
there's,
watch it.
there's
so
no lift because
he's
Aston-
looking. What's he looking at?
Aston's responsible for his own.
Yeah,
Ball.
absolutely.
So, presumably he is just going to go to the peg now and watch the peg.
Yeah.
But yeah, Reg has had a big result if yellow's wired. But he didn't wander up there to look at the position, did he? How far do I have to run it by to make sure it's wired?
No.
Run past it
No.
to make sure it's wired. So we think this is just shooting at the peg. Is it going to be a +1 to Aston or a -1? Here we go.
Yes.
Missed.
Yeah. So it's going to be a -1. Oh.
And that's a bad one to lose.
Yeah. Well, having run over.
Having run her over.
And had a what? 8-yarder?
No, less than
7.
that.
You
less
think
than
it
that.
was
Six.
less?
6. 6-yarder.
Yeah, true. Probably 6. Yeah. Well. So fully justifying Reg's tactics, Chris. Clearly, won the game.
And just a horrible, horrible pegged out ending, wasn't it? You do not want to be playing 7 or 8 of those in a World Championship.
No. Well, they'll be certainly breaking for lunch, won't they? I imagine.
I would expect it will be a lunch break there. So I'm just going to disappear as well, I think. Or do you want to go and have lunch?
Well, there's nothing to commentate on at
There
the
isn't.
moment.
There isn't.
So I'm going to be probably getting a sandwich.
Right.
And I can come back after that.
Okay. I'll let you head off. I'll keep some commentary going whilst you're away. Alain Giraud has had a lot of the recent play on Lawn 2. In the main knockout, Debbie has equalised against Zach Watson. (26 TP). I think we've mentioned Gabrielle beating Marcus. We know Harry's game up against Ewan, and yeah, I think you're up to date with most of those other results. I suppose the one thing we didn't mention is Robert Fulford's score against Blake Fields. Robert 26 STP. It's very unusual for Robert to do an STP, so did he lay for a one-back leave and break down and then have to finish with a STP, or did he just not get the balls out very quickly? But last we heard of that in the third game, Robert had gone round, got the first break, and Blake had just hit the lift shot very narrowly and was in play. So meanwhile on Lawn 2, Alain playing Dwayne McCormick, and he's lining up a straight rover peel from what appears, according to the commentary, to be the first game. So it's quite a slow first game if that's the case, but it might be a second. But he's about 2 feet straight, lining up the peel, which he's going to Irish without any deep ball. And the winner of that match gets the winner of that Bamford-Wade match we've been just watching. So the Irish peel's gone through, partners run the hoop gently, striker's ball is through, he's hit an opponent ball, and he's probably got a good position to maybe cannon the peelie, clear of the hoop, and he should be finishing that turn. So at the moment, just 3 people through to the last 16. Matthew Essick beating Robert Wilkinson, Mark Avery beating Sam Murray, and James Death beating Stuart Lawrence. So now we've got Alain in picture. He's cannoned blue away from behind rover with yellow, and now just takes off with black to get a rush on blue to the peg. And that's a win against Dwayne, who's done very well so far this tournament. I think Dwayne is a match win as well. Shake hands. So Dwayne had, I think, got won 7 in his block games and done very nicely. Had a good go at a sextuple against Andres. Another good experience for him. I was fortunate enough to commentate on Alan on day 1, and he played very nicely there. And I'm told that despite the fact he ended up only just qualifying, it was more due to his opponents playing well against him than him making lots of errors. So Alain might have had half an eye on that game on the adjacent Lawn 3, that thriller Peg v Peg, Bamford v Wade. Bamford missing an 11-yarder up on the north boundary, and eventually Aston missing a 6-yarder after over to win the first game. So Aston now having lunch, and we haven't got that much that we're able to show you now. Lawns 4, 3 and 2 all empty. So Wilson Fletcher Croquet asking, do we think we'll see any more TPOs from Reg this tournament after that scare? I don't know. I just think, you know, one of the reasons he's so good and he's won so much is he's really good at doing sextuple peels on easy lawns. And these are easy lawns with easy balls. We're scrolling through some results. Some of them are swept plate results. You have to think that Reg should have first of all watched Robbie Fletcher's 2-ball endings at Nottingham. I remember one he played against George Noble where George got in front of 3 back with Robbie in front of 1 back, and Robbie ran 1 back, immediately ran 2 back, but missed George in front of 3 back, and that could have been curtains, but he won that game. From there we've seen how easy it is for the opponent to catch up, how many areas of the lawn you can dominate, and your opponent isn't willing to take position, or if they do, they leave you with a 10-yard Croquet. You know, Reg taking position twice in front of Rover, giving comparatively short shots, and every time you take Croquet on these front lawns, you've got a genuine chance of finishing. So surely Reg is just going to start doing sextuples at some stage. Surely. Once he sees potentially Robert Fulford doing them. Obviously Rob's in trouble. He's game all, and Blake was having his first break in the third to equalise. It is a big question. I don't like it as a tactic on an easy lawn. And I think, as Jack Wicks mentioned, if you're going to do it, well, why not do 1 peel of the TPO on your way to 1 back, and then maybe get 4 peels of your sextuple and finish on penult V1, which is a much stronger position, not having to give any lifts away, than 1v3 back, 1v2 back. And he's so good at sextuples. He's taken his sort of number 1 weapon out of his game if he isn't doing sextuples. So I don't know what we're going to see. One of the fascinating parts of this tournament is there are lots of tactics available after hitting the lift. We probably won't see that much popping, because finishing a triple peel from hoop 3 isn't particularly difficult, but we may well see Fulford popping to 2 and 2 and trying to make a sextuple leave more difficult, or popping to 1 and 3 and trying to give some polarity to the balls and making one shot 6 yards longer. But yeah, all to look forward to. We've got a group of players who won't be doing sextuples, who will be just going to 4 back, and we should be seeing an increasingly large number of super shots in the opening. So all that's to look forward to. Reg still by the lawn, Aston having gone for lunch. Won't be long before Harry and Ewan come back for Harry's lift shot in the second game. Harry's game up, and it's break all with Harry having a lift shot. I always used to like to take my lift shot before lunch, but I guess the opponent can just carry on playing then. Stephen Mulliner in play all the way down on lawn 1, and he's been in play most of the times I've been just glancing down there. Stephen playing Tom Balding from America. Tom played in his first McRobertson Shield back in November in Australia. Lovely, very likeable chap, and yeah, very much in the early days of his career and still improving. So I think we'll leave it there, and Keith will be back for the start of the lift shot of Game 2, Harry Fisher v Ewan Burridge. So that's it for the next few minutes.
So what we'll do now is we'll end this stream and then come back to Lawn 4 when we've had the lunch break and pick up on the session 2, which you'll see on the YouTube channel. So finishing the stream for now.